14 years, the Flatbeds have laid it all out on the flat desert track. Now tonight, the Valley of the Sun plays host to the best battle under the stars. Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday have drawn battle lines in the desert sand. Both have won here before. Both are thirsty for the title. The best championship battle in NASCAR, the best battle in series history, throws out the next punch, and it could be a knockout. The Phoenix International Raceway is quietly tucked away from the Phoenix, Arizona skyline. The 1-mile racing loop cradled inside the Estrella Mountains. Fans drive in from all over the Southwest tonight. They are on the edge of their seats. Are you ready to be set up? Well, not only are fans on the edge of their seats, some are literally on the edge of a cliff. Phoenix International Raceway has one of the most unique viewing experience in all of racing, and we are bringing it to you live tonight from Rattlesnake Hill. Now, if some of you are new to the Truck Series, joining us for our spooktacular Halloween edition last week, welcome. This week we are back to normal. Or as normal as we get. They've put me on the top of a mountain, for goodness sakes. You will see all of the pictures. It's an amazing view, and we're going to bring it to you over the next half hour. But if you are new to the series, well, there is one thing you need to know. In the Truck Series, we take the championship battle right down to the wire.
Oh, Hornaday's out of gas. He's out of gas.
Absolute disaster for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series point leader.
This is going to be very big for Johnny Benson. So this points battle is really tight on every lap.
A great run for Ron Hornaday as they come to the start-finish line. Coming out of 4, across the start-finish line, Hornaday wins at Texas. The difference is 6.
Taking a look at our Ford point standings, there it is. Unbelievable. Just 6 points separating the top 2. The battle for 4th is also intense. 23 points separating 4 drivers. Of course, we know most eyes will remain up top. And time now to take a look at some of our news and headlines. And up front tonight will be, can you believe it? Ron Hornaday is on the pole. Is he making a statement for this championship or what? Kyle Busch will start alongside of him on row 1. If you're keeping track at home, Johnny Benson starts 14th. And speaking of Benson, some huge news in the series. Johnny Benson has said he will not be back at Bill Davis Racing next year. Regardless of what happens in the championship, he will not be back in that truck to defend his championship should he win it. His owner, Bill Davis, has confirmed this is true. Johnny Benson said he has other opportunities out there. Not sure yet where he will land. Adam Alexander is standing by with Johnny Benson.
And, of course, those comments, Krista, from JB coming earlier this week that you will not be back at Bill Davis Racing in 2009. So what are the plans for the future, Johnny?
I don't know what the plans for the future holds for next year, but I know that the rest of this season we're going to try to win this championship for Bill and Gail because they've done a tremendous job with all the race teams. They gave us a great opportunity to come and try to, run for a championship last couple of years, and that's been really cool to be able to do that. And, everybody needs to be real proud of our guys. They just done a tremendous job, but next year I'm just trying to find something that's maybe a little less hectic, maybe a full schedule, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, at first I wasn't going to do anything, then I wasn't sure, then I was going to race my modified, my late models, and then a couple opportunities came up that, are pretty inviting to do. So I'm going to worry about that after Homestead, though. I'm not that worried about it right at the moment. Don't care about it at the moment. And because I think it's important that myself and Tripp, all the guys for Toyota Certified, and XI batteries and everything we can to get Bill and Gail this championship. And it's been tough the last couple of weeks, I can tell you that. Just, Ron and those guys have done a tremendous job. They've been running good. And, we're trying to get to where we can run with them. And that's the struggles at the moment. But I think we're good enough here for Phoenix to get up there. It's going to take us a little bit. But I think by the end of the race, looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun.
Johnny starting 14th tonight and chasing the man on the pole, Ray.
And that would be Ron Hornaday. And the big news, of course, coming up this week is that it's Veterans Day, and you've got the VFW on the truck for the final time this year. Ron, how good would it be for you and your team to get another win for the VFW?
Well, with all the support the VFW has done all year long, we finally get a win last weekend, and then a pole this weekend. It's pretty cool. So hopefully we can pull off a victory for them. They've been a lot of support up there at KHI, and I got to thank Camp and World Chevrolet and Silverado. I mean, it's been a lot of fun.
Ron, you've been involved in a lot of these championship chases, going for your 4th championship here in the Craftsman Truck Series. I know there's a lot of momentum going on your team. How much does that help you, and how much confidence does that give you going into these final 2 races?
A lot. I mean, like I said earlier, Rickman had, 5 races last year. We only had 2 trucks. Now we got 5 races for the last 5 races. So he's got an opportunity to pick what truck he wants to bring, and he brought the best truck here to Phoenix. So it gives me a lot of confidence. These guys believe in me, and I believe in them. And when we unloaded off the trailer, we were good. So we're going to ride this wave right now, and hopefully we'll lead the most laps and try to beat Johnny, and we'll go down to Homestead and race him for the championship.
All right, good luck to you. Ron Hornaday got his 19th career pole today here with a lightning-fast time at Phoenix. Krista?
All right, thanks, Ray. You just heard a little taste of what Ron and Johnny are thinking as they head into the final stretch. Log on to speedtv.com to read their innermost thoughts. Both drivers writing championship diaries online. Well, no question, this is the race to watch. 2 races to go, 2 drivers who will likely not be getting much sleep over the final week. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, they are up in the broadcast booth. Guys, your thoughts after hearing what they said?
Well, I think it's a huge story. Obviously, Johnny Benson not coming back to Bill Davis Racing. But Johnny said it's not going to affect him the remaining 2 races. Is that the truth? Can he do 2 more races, not having a job in 2009, and not think about that?
Well, I talked to Johnny just a few moments ago, and I asked him about it, and he said, well, I really told Bill back before Martinsville. We know what he did at Martinsville. He dominated that race. So he said, I'm telling you, we know what we have to do. We've been here before. We're going to go out there, try to win this championship. It's really just business as usual for JB, Tripp, and all those guys.
Well, and Johnny Benson respects and loves Bill Davis. Bill Davis gave him a chance to race for championships. People want to work for Bill Davis. They want to go succeed for Bill and Gail Davis, and I know that's exactly what Johnny Benson has in mind. He wants to win this race tonight. He wants to go to Miami and get this championship and leave Bill and Gail and say, it's been fun, thank you, we got us a championship together. And I love that type of thinking, and I know that's how Johnny Benson is looking at it.
Well, obviously, we've got 2 races to go. Ron Hornaday just 6 points back. We hope that neither one of those drivers get snake bit tonight. And also you too, Krista, up there on Rattlesnake Hill.
Rattlesnake Hill, yes, I'm looking out for the snakes. I know you guys usually have the best seat in the house tonight. I think myself and all of these fans up here are giving you guys a run for your money. The actual name is Monument Hill. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Sites because the very top of this hill where we stand was the original land survey point for all of Arizona. Talk about making history. Johnny Benson, he has done it before, winning here. So has Ron Hornaday. The best championship battle in all of NASCAR, the tightest championship battle in the Truck Series history. The next chapter gets written tonight. You will see it all unfold. Come back to the setup here on Speed right after this.
What a great points battle we've got going in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Johnny Benson focused on this championship.
Johnny Benson may not be quite done here with his battle on Ron Hornaday.
Here comes Hornaday once again.
Power move by Johnny Benson. He has rebounded solidly.
They still haven't decided.
It's making a very interesting points chase.
He's going to be a tough competitor. It's going to come down to Homestead.
The tightest points battle in NASCAR.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series setup is brought to you by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears.
Taking a look at Phoenix International Raceway before the racetrack was here. Well, Rattlesnake Hill was here. Why is it called that? Well, scorpions, lizards, rattlesnakes all, yes, make their home on this hill. Back in the day, track workers would actually have to scoop up the snakes, clear the hill before race weekend. No signs of any rattlesnakes yet, but just so you know at home what we go through, this is the shoes I was going to wear until the folks told me I was going to be up on top of Rattlesnake Hill. So those are no good anymore. I've got the tennis shoes on. It's quite a long climb. All these fans have made it. The track actually will sell about 5,000 tickets to Rattlesnake Hill this weekend. Before the break, told you that Johnny Benson here in the Truck Series made history winning this race in 2006. Well, it wasn't just that he won. It was how he won. Let's take a look back into the vault and a look back at Phoenix, the Truck Series race of 2006.
Some things can get lost in the desert. And in 2006, Bill Davis Racing lost their cool.
I wonder if Mike Skinner...
I don't think so. I know what you're going to say. Will he let Johnny lead lap number one? I don't think he's going to let Johnny lead it.
On the back stretch.
Johnny's spinning out right in front of Todd.
Johnny Benson sideways in turn 4. Doesn't look as though he hit anything.
Doesn't look like anybody got it. Nice save. That truck was almost a half a second faster than the field in qualifying, and now he's running dead last.
Johnny Benson recovered from the spin and went on to battle for the checkered flag.
Out in front, working his way through 3 and 4, Johnny Benson will win at Phoenix.
Great job by Rick Wren, Johnny Benson, that entire team to overcome a spin on lap number 1.
The spin and win kept Benson's hopes alive in the race for the 2006 championship. Could it happen again tonight?
So we keep telling you how close this championship battle is, but look at the numbers. Just 6 points. That's just a little bit over one position. Only one other time has it been even close to that. In 2004, that was Bobby Hamilton and Dennis Setzer. They were separated by 7. Adam is standing by with another driver. Could be a factor in the field tonight.
Indeed the case. Kevin Harvick Incorporated, 16 Truck Series wins all time. The first coming 6 years ago right here with you behind the wheel. You've been good here in Cup and Nationwide also, so how confident are you about tonight starting 10?
I feel really good. Our Campino Chevrolet has been really good in practice. I just did a terrible job qualifying. These things are such a different animal to drive, and the way that you have to drive them is so much different than our Nationwide car and my Cup car that I just underdrove the thing. So hopefully I can make up for what I did wrong, and hopefully Ron has a good night and we can race hard.
Over to Ray Dunlap.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Adam, this is behind the scenes now. We are really in driver introductions. I've never been back here. This is pretty cool. But tell me about Phoenix, Kyle. With a win here, how confident are you can get number 2 tonight?
Well, we got the 33 to deal with, so those guys are always good. But I don't know. I think our stuff's pretty decent. It's the same setup basically as last year. Still runs pretty well this year. Just changed some front shocks and a couple other things, and that's about it. So we'll see how it goes tonight. Hopefully it's got enough in it.
Do you keep it in mind about this championship chase with just 2 races to go? Is it any different than any other race, how you race them?
Sure.
I don't know what that answer was. I'm not sure. Anyway, Hornaday and Kyle Busch heading up for driver intros.
I like it. Just a wink and a smile. We'll have to see what happens in the race tonight. Thanks, Ray. If you can't stand the climb up Rattlesnake Hill, we'll just pull up a chair at the new Speed Cantina. The track and speed joining forces on the new one-of-a-kind sports bar and grill. It's unveiled this weekend. The Speed Cantina sits on the former site of the Oasis Bar and Grill, located just outside Turn 2, behind the Bobby Allison grandstands. NASCAR fans attending events here at the track can hit the cantina at no additional cost. The Speed Cantina includes tons of flat screens so fans can watch all of their favorite speed shows, like the setup. And Adam standing by with another driver. No time to go to the cantina yet, Adam. We still have a race.
It's in 3 of the last 4 races, so what's the key to continuing that success here tonight in Phoenix, Brian?
Obviously, the first thing is just making it to the end. You can't finish in the top 10 if you don't stay on the lead lap and don't make it to the end. So we're going to try to see what we have, use the first couple pit stops as opportunities to adjust on it, make it better, and hopefully just keep working our way to the front. Obviously, 5th is towards the front, but it's not first. So the goal for tonight will be staying out of trouble and just getting it better so we can get up there and hopefully get that clean air and maybe lead them all to the checkered flag tonight.
A number of good finishes of late for Brian Scott. A great starting spot this evening. He rolls off 5th.
So Brad Keselowski with a great qualifying run, starting 7th tonight in your own truck, a brand new piece. How hard do you race it?
We're going to race it really hard. We're here to run up front. We don't really have anything to lose, not running for points. But we're going to respect Johnny and Ron Hornaday and do what we can for them. But this is a great night for me, just talking to Kevin Harvick about owning your own truck and everything that goes with it, and how much this series means to me and how great it would be to run up front and win a race and be the first father-son combo to do it.
Well, we'll keep our eye on that 19 truck tonight. You know this guy is going to be fast.
All right, thanks, Ray. And what you're seeing there, those are the folks, the race fans, with their coolers, with all of their gear, trying to make it up Rattlesnake Hill. It certainly is a climb, and it took me quite a while, but we made it all the way to the top. Rattlesnake Hill, it actually is terraced along the west side right below me, so it's cut into the mountain so that fans have the best view possible. Tonight, we know you're watching at home. You're not here at Phoenix International Raceway. We are bringing that view to you. A lot of great racing still to come. We will have more of the setup here on Speed. I'm waving. I'm waving to you. come back. I'll still be waving. More on Speed right after this.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series setup is brought to you by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears.
Phoenix International Raceway, the sun has set. It's just a beautiful postcard shot of the racetrack in the southwestern part of the country. A big weekend for the Truck Series. It's also a big weekend for the VFW. Veterans Day, of course, coming up. The VFW offers services and support to troops, veterans, and their families. A big presence here at the racetrack tonight. The VFW on board with our pole sitter, Ron Hornaday. Welcome back to the setup on Speed. Do not adjust your television. I am not chroma keyed. It's not just a poster of me in front of a beautiful backdrop. I am on top of Rattlesnake Hill. It's just a part of the experience here at Phoenix International Raceway. Fans will climb up the hill, bring their lawn chairs, and they basically make the grandstands right here. Of course, we talked about sponsors. Sponsors, very big part of the Truck Series. We have a driver who knows he's learning the hard way how to make his mark in the series. Jason White, he doesn't have a big following, but he has big names following him. He's friends with Denny Hamlin. He's got a lot of eyes on him right now. Here's an introduction to one of our drivers in the Truck Series, Jason White.
Being a NASCAR driver is a dream job, and for Jason White, it took more than talent. It took commitment.
I mean, I've been going to the races since I was a kid, 5 years old. I remember going to the race where Davey Allison pushed Bobby to the win at Daytona.
Bobby Allison holds him off. They come to the stripe, and the winner of the 30th annual Great American Race.
Since that day at Daytona when I was a kid, I said, man, that's what I want to do, is go racing.
White grew up a fan of the sport and rose through the ranks like many early stock car drivers. But to a degree, times have changed.
Back then, it was just if you could drive, they'd just give you a chance. And now it's become more sponsor-driven and kind of who you know and who can help you out. I started going around the tracks when I was 18, 19 years old, trying to talk to anybody and everybody that I could to get an opportunity in their equipment.
Can you take me through the process that got you here?
I was at the track, and I talked to Max Jones, and he told me to send him a portfolio. And a couple days ago, he called me up and said, hey, you got a flight. This is where you got to be, and here we are.
The 2000 Roush auditions showcased unknown talent with one winner, Kurt Busch. But White remained dedicated.
Remember days, you know, you walk around this garage for hours, you get nothing accomplished, and you're like, man, is anything really going to happen? You know, then there's days you talk to people and you go, man, you know, I think something could lead into that.
After years of roadblocks, White met Dwayne Galding, a local businessman from Virginia.
I met Jason about 7 years ago. I was in the motorcycle business. He had came to me and said, I'm looking for a sponsorship for the Richmond race. And that time we talked, and when he found out that, you know, I was unable to sponsor him, I said, well, maybe I can help you achieve sponsors.
And we put a game plan together about 5 years ago and just stuck to that game plan and said, hey, you're going to be loyal to me, I'm going to be loyal to you.
We used to ride around and find associate sponsors, go to the racetrack a couple days prior to the event. We'd go to every car dealership, getting anywhere from $700 to $1,000 per person and raising money and then taking it to a team to get Jason a ride.
Commitment to each other and adapting to a new NASCAR has made White successful in the garage today.
What we always try to do is we try to get people excited about racing that was not already in the sport. I mean, you look around out here in the NASCAR world, the fans that come and support this, you know, the big motorhomes, I mean, those people have to have great jobs to purchase those things. So it's my job to get those people excited because you never know, that guy that we talk to might be our next sponsor.
Jason White has really done a nice job there. He's running right now in the 13th position.
Jason's a good kid. He loves racing. He works very hard with his sponsor.
When you get on this pavement, you walk in this garage, it's a different feeling when you go up to these people. I mean, you have to have confidence in yourself, or if you don't have confidence in yourself, no one's going to believe in you either.
And little doubt that Jason has had plenty of adversities to overcome in his career. Another one tonight, starting 30th. So how do you battle your way through the field, Jay?
Well, you know, Adam, we're gonna get this thing to the front. Gunbroker.com, they're behind us, and we're really excited about this race, and hopefully we can get out there and get a top 15 tonight. Be pretty good.
Good luck to Jason White. Over now to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Adam. You know, one of the things I really love about the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, all the young drivers making their way up, and this is one we can add to the list. J.R. Fitzpatrick, you won the 2006 CASCAR Championship, but a brand new deal with truck racing. How do you like it?
Yeah, I mean, the 06 season was definitely great, but I mean, this is a pile of fun. I mean, I've only done 2 races, well, one going on to our second here, and it's just been a pile of fun, you know. It's great to work with everybody here, and we're really trying our best to get future plans put together and hopefully go for Rookie of the Year next year.
Okay, we wish you good luck with that, and tonight, the number 71 truck rolls off 6 tonight. That is young J.R. Fitzpatrick. Krista?
All right, thanks, Ray. And can you imagine, look at this sky. I mean, look at this sky behind me. This is the view that the fans who sit here on Rattlesnake Hill in Phoenix, that's the view they have for the race tonight. It's the view you have right now. Rattlesnake Hill, it's a rockin'. These fans are set up. They have concession stands, souvenir tents, porta-johns, even an ATM machine at the bottom of this hill. But it's not about cash tonight. It's all about the win and the championship. The best battle in all of NASCAR, the best view in NASCAR racing right here on the Truck Series. We will get it set up right after this.
Nine months, 24 races. It's all been leading up to this. Will there be a first-time champion or a historic fourth-time champion? Catch the setup at 7:30 and racing under the lights in Miami, followed by the crowning of the 2008 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. Live on Speed. Be there.
I can hardly wait. I know you can hardly wait for all the racing programming you still have this weekend here from Phoenix. Of course, we cannot wait, though, to go down to Homestead, practice, qualifying, plus the setup and the season finale race. One driver will be the 2008 champion. Well, in May, we were the first program to broadcast from Miles the Monster. Last week, we were the first NASCAR show to broadcast from the Land of Oz. This week, the very first NASCAR show to broadcast here, our entire pre-race show from Rattlesnake Hill. The gloves are off. Hornaday Benson or another driver. Who will it be? The Lucas Oil 150 throws down now.
Hornaday turns the wick up one more time.
Johnny Benson has been the man from the drop of the green flag.
A great battle in the point standings.
He led the most laps, and he wins at New Hampshire.
What a dominating performance for Ron Hornaday.
A big jump for Johnny Benson of the championship point standings. He comes to the line, picking up the victory. And now a problem for Hornaday. Absolute disaster for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series point leader.
Problems with Johnny Benson. He gets into the wall. Not only was he your race leader, he is your points leader, but that could change tonight. It all comes down to 2 races, but it's all separated by just 6 points. 2 drivers will battle it out starting tonight in Avondale, Arizona. Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Lucas Oil 150 on Speed. A gorgeous evening here just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. In the foothills, it's 75 degrees, clear skies, and again under the lights at Phoenix International Raceway. We want to take a look at those point standings. The Ford point standing shows us just 6 points separating Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday. 6 points. That's like 2 positions on the racetrack. I mean, we are so tight now. This comes down to the final 2 races. And again, it all starts right here at Phoenix International Raceway. Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. Well, now we have a racetrack that is going to challenge our two drivers. This is an extremely unique situation and a tough racetrack for these two to take on.
It really is. We run a lot of mile-and-a-half racetracks. This is nothing like the mile-and-a-half that we run. This is a 1 mile flat, completely different on both ends of the racetrack. You have turns 1 and 2 that are a little bit tighter, banked a little bit more than the other end of the racetrack. You've got a dog leg on the backstretch there. Really, the guys don't get out of the throttle there, but you go into a little flatter, wide sweeping turns 3 and 4. Handling is of a premium here at this racetrack, and this is a racetrack that these guys, Mikey, are going to have fun racing tonight.
Oh, it's a great racetrack. I was just on it a little while ago. A lot of grip, a lot of grooves. They're going to go all over the place. Just think about Johnny Benson, though. He's thinking, I'm glad to be somewhere besides a mile-and-a-half bank track. Ron Hornaday has dominated our team the last couple of weeks. I won at Martinsville the last time we were on a flat track. We're back to a flat track here. He needs to get rolling, Phil, so we can go to Miami and decide this championship.
You talk about a flat racetrack. It's a level playing field for both competitors tonight. Let's get the invocation underway. We go trackside.
Rise and remove your hats as the veterans of foreign wars, two-time All-American post 6310, Bobby Diaz-Lopez of Tolleson, Arizona, present our nation's colors and offer a gun salute in recognition of America's veterans. Please pause for a moment of silence as we remember all of our United States veterans. Please remain standing and welcome Phoenix International Raceway Chaplain Ken Bowers as he offers tonight's invocation.
Heavenly Father, thank you so very much for allowing us to join you here again tonight for the continuation of the NASCAR weekend at our beloved Phoenix International Raceway. We're encouraged in Scripture to count our blessings, and tonight, among many, we are remembering our faith and our families and our friends. So tonight we're here with you and our racing family and our friends to enjoy another night of competition. Be with every driver and crew member and official, and oh Lord, we thank you so very much for our wonderful fans, and it is in your name we pray. And everyone said, Amen.
And now please welcome from Peoria, Arizona, vocalist Patrick Lauder as he performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Under the stars at Phoenix International Raceway, the lights are on, and we're about to get underway with NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Racing from Phoenix next.
The NASCAR NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is presented on speed by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world. Brought to you in part by Toyota, moving forward, and by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears.
Again, welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. 6 points. I mean, we have got to, I don't think we could talk about it enough. How close can you possibly be with 2 to go?
Well, right now, Ron Hornaday has the pole. If he leads this first lap, he will get 5 points. That means at the end of one lap, we could have a 1-point race.
Oh, yeah.
And the last couple of weeks, Kyle Busch has started third, and he's led the first lap. Now he's second. I bet you he thinks, well, this will be no problem at all.
And we heard earlier Kyle Busch talking about, hey, I know they're racing for a championship, those two guys, but he wants wins. And he's already got 21 of them this year in NASCAR, so he's going to continue to try to conquer this racetrack as we look at our particulars for the track in our Ford track description.
Very unique racetrack. As you can see, turns 1 and 2 a little bit tighter than the other and banked 11 degrees. Kink down the backstretch, a kidney-shaped racetrack, and then we get down to a pretty flat 3 and 4 wide sweeping, Mike.
It is, and the flatness in 3 and 4, the fact that it's a bigger radius, you really get a truck that your truck will handle better in that turn. You can get it right down on the bottom of the line, and you can make that corner seem more pleasant than you can 1. When you go down to 1, you got to stop and make a left. That ain't easy to do.
It's a hard left, too.
Exactly.
Here's our Optima Batteries race analysis. 150 miles, obviously in a mile racetrack, 150 laps. The pit window is 70 to 80 laps. Could we see anyone say, let's try to make this on 1 stop?
I don't think you'll see that because nobody will take a chance going 75 or 80 laps because, you know, they would have to have that caution exactly the right time. You know, they'll stop at 30 or 40, whatever the case may be, because they can't afford not to get that caution at the right time.
But the cool thing is you do have options. If you do want to play a strategy game, you can work that in at this track.
Great shots from the Goodyear blimp will give us pictures all night long. Let's fire the engines. The drivers are strapped in. Let's get that command.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back President and Chief Executive Officer of Lucas Oil, Forrest Lucas, as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The Camping World VFW Chevrolet fired up. Again, Hornaday 6 points behind Johnny Benson when the green flag drops, but he starts on the pole. Who will lead the first lap? We're about to find out when we come back. Welcome back to Avondale, Arizona, Phoenix International Raceway. We're here for the Lucas Oil 150. These great shots provided by Goodyear. Get there on silent armor technology with the strength of Kevlar for toughness and a comfortable ride.
Great night for racing here in Phoenix, and these trucks are built for a track just like this. It's going to be fun.
First race ever was right here at Phoenix back in 1995.
They finished that 95 season right here as well when Mike Skinner was crowned our champion. The trucks begin to roll on the racetrack. Let's take a look at our starting grid. It's going to roll across the bottom of the screen. The Lucas Oil 150. Again, Ron Hornaday and Kyle Busch making up row number 1. We always like to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers. Normally we talk about guys that we wouldn't normally talk about during the race a lot to get to know them a little better. Tonight we're looking at 4th through 7th in the points, beginning with Eric Darnell. Ray Dunlap.
You know, it's interesting, Rick, when you look at this number 99 Northern Tool and Equipment Ford, he really hasn't been that great at Phoenix, but Eric Darnell says this is really one of his favorite tracks. Now, he is 4th in points right now, and of course, he's 253rd out of the championship, so they're not even thinking about that. But listen to these numbers, only 23 points all the way back to 7th. Eric Darnell knows they need strong performances in these final 2 races to stay up there in the points. You want to be as close to the front as you can when it comes to the banquet in Miami. Adam?
And it's been somewhat of a heartbreak in recent weeks for Matt Crafton. He was 3rd in points 7 consecutive weeks, but a 29th place run at Atlanta dropped him to 5th. That's where he is now, only 3 behind the aforementioned Eric Darnell, and he would love to get in 3rd, but he's got some work to do. 133 points behind Todd Bodine to get in the top 3 going into next week, entering tonight's race. Bill Parsons.
Adam, I want to take a look at Mike Skinner. Mike right now is 6th in points. As you can see, he's only 13 points behind 4th, only 10 points behind 5th. Mike is a 2-time winner. We talked just a few moments ago about that first ever Craftsman Truck Series race being here back in 1995, and that guy won it. And he also won the last race that season. Mike Skinner, 2-time winner, 25 wins in all in his career in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And oh, by the way, Michael, in his Toyota, he's only 10 points ahead of your guy.
My guy's Rick Crawford, and I said in the qualifying show, I like Rick Crawford at Phoenix. This reminds me of a place where he'll just get it done. Now, think about this, Phil. It's a big deal. Every point, every position in the points is a big deal. He's only 23 markers from moving from 7th into the top 5 in that 4th spot. That's a big deal for these teams. And watch for Rick Crawford to make some ground on his the guys he's racing against tonight.
We'll keep our eye on 4th through 7th tonight. We're also going to be riding along with a few different drivers, one of those being Johnny Benson. He'll start 14th tonight with a Toyota on board. Our other championship contender, Ron Hornaday, will carry a camera. He starts up front with his Camping World camera. The Team ASC truck driven by Terry Cook will start 12th and carry one of our cameras. And Jack Sprague will also have a Toyota on board that will give us pictures with him starting in 21st. Let's go back trackside for Ray Dunlap.
You know, Rick, when I think about my final thought tonight, I started to say, who could I talk about? Well, how can you not talk about Hornaday and Benson in this unbelievable championship? You know, this series in its 13th season has some great championship battles, but I don't think any has been this close. These two guys have been neck and neck throughout the season. You see Hornaday with 6 wins and Benson with 5, but look at their stats on the flat tracks. These two guys almost identical. They have their 2 favorite flat track trucks here tonight, and I think this is going to be an epic battle all the way to the final laps at Homestead. But here at Phoenix, both of these guys very, very good. I'm not sure I can pick a winner between the 33 or the 23. Adam?
No doubt, Ray, the numbers for both Hornaday and Benson impressive here at Phoenix, but not near as good as 2 Cup Series regulars racing tonight. I'm talking about Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, the only 2 drivers to win in all of NASCAR's top 3 series here at this flat mile. Look at the numbers. Harvick, a couple of wins in Cup and Truck, 1 in Nationwide. Just the opposite for Kyle Busch. What about the laps led? 600 plus for Kevin Harvick. Both drivers starting in the top 10 here tonight.
And Kyle Busch will start on the outside of Ron Hornaday. Who's going to lead the first lap? It's about to be decided. The pace truck is off the racetrack. Now the field is in the hands of Hornaday. The green flag will go in the air, and we are underway with the Lucas Oil 150. Uncharacteristic start for Kyle Busch there. He didn't jump out in front.
Well, it's not over yet. This lap isn't done.
He's able to hang on that right rear quarter panel, Phil. He's up beside Ron Hornaday going down into turn 3. It's very difficult to keep your truck up under you when you've got another truck.
Oh, problems already. There goes Ron Hornaday. He turns around. Into the wall he goes. The left front of the truck. And problems with the 71 getting into him as well.
Johnny Benson got a piece of that. He got a piece of Ron Hornaday.
Johnny Benson, yes, on the right side of that truck, more damage. These 2 trucks separated by just 6 points, and they didn't even make it to the start-finish line for lap 1.
I'll tell you how reminiscent of that is a couple years ago when Johnny Benson and Mike Skinner, look at all the damage on this VFW Chevrolet.
Johnny Benson got away with it. He drove off, got some tires, and came through the field to win the race. Ron Hornaday is done. This truck's got to go to the garage area for a lot of work. It's torn up severely. He will be behind the wall possibly for the majority of the night. I told you when they went down into turn 3, a key moment on that lap was when they exited turn 2. Kyle Busch hung right there on Hornaday. Made Hornaday try to drive the bottom when he got to turn 3, and that's hard to do. Tires are cold. You're pitching your truck down. Next thing he knows he's spinning out.
But Ron Hornaday, he is beside himself right now saying, how did I let this happen? Why did I race Kyle Busch into that corner so hard? Look how much damage he has to that truck. I'm not sure. They'll get this truck back on the racetrack, but he's probably destined not to finish in the top 25 or 30.
And Johnny Benson's damage is minimal. I don't care what the right side of that truck looks like. It didn't appear that anything hit his right front tire. It was right behind the front tire. I think that truck's going to be fine.
Take another look. This is getting into turn 3.
Kyle Busch just drives up on the outside of him, gives Ron plenty of room, but Ron slides up the hill and gets into Kyle Busch.
Had to chase that truck up the hill. He made contact. Kyle does a nice job saving his truck, but Ron Hornaday cannot keep that truck out of the outside wall. And J.R. Fitzpatrick, who had a great qualifying effort, came in and made some pretty hard contact with the 33 of Hornaday.
They're still wrecking. the track was pretty much blocked. You know, when you go down in that turn and someone's spinning like Hornaday was, the visibility's terrible. You can't see through all the smoke. Adam, what are they saying in the 23 pit?
Well, the irony in all this is Johnny didn't have a great qualifying run earlier today. You would think him starting 14th would put him in jeopardy early in this race. No major damage on the right side of the 23 truck. He came down pit road. Rocky Ryan from the spotter stand said it looked good. Trip Bruce said right side tires only. And to the applause, the folks in the 23 camp, Benson is pulled away. I would expect we'll see him down pit road again under caution.
Adam, down here in the 33 pits, lots of work to be done on this VFW Chevrolet. Ron Hornaday came on the radio and said, my bad, guys, I had too much rear brake dialed into this truck. The rear track bar is broken. They'll have to replace that. On the front, it appears the radiator is busted, and the left front A-frame is definitely broken. So they'll have to put front suspension on this thing. They'll have to take all the ductwork out of the front. They'll probably remove the hood and the front fenders, and they've got to get a rear track bar put in here. It does not appear that the frame on the back side of this truck is in any problem, so we will see whether or not they have to do any power work on that. I think they'll be able to remove sheet metal here, but the big question is, can they get that spoiler back up in the air to get some downforce on this thing for Hornaday to be able to keep the minimum speed?
Now let's take another look, and we've got to look at the big picture here.
You've got to give Kyle Busch a lot of credit. Look how high Kyle was up to the racetrack. He didn't go down in that corner and pinch Ron down. He gave him all the room he could give him, and he probably understood that Ron was loose up under him, but Kyle couldn't have done anything else.
No, he really couldn't have. He got up absolutely as far as he could. Here's another look at it right here. You see him drive down in the corner. Ron is on the bottom. Kyle gives him plenty of room, but Ron has to chase this truck. He gets loose down there in the bottom. We see it happen so often, and here's a three-time champion that it happened to. He got a little bit too loose. We heard Ron say on the radio that he had a little bit too much rear brake in it. You don't use as much rear brake getting down in turn number 3 as you do down in turn number 1, but when you have too much rear brake, it wants to slide that rear end out, and that may have been exactly what happened to Ron.
Well, he definitely entered the corner loose, and he couldn't turn the wheel to the left. You know, he wanted to turn it to the left, but he knew if he did, the back end would come around. As he slid up the hill, he had the wheels turned to the left, made contact with the truck of Kyle Busch. Look at the visibility I'm talking about. These guys are just trying to figure out a way to get through it.
That's Jack Sprague right there in his Weiler.com Toyota. He makes a little bit of contact with the 40 of Mike Bliss. There's another Ron's on board. You see him had to chase that truck up the hill. He tries to get back in the throttle to keep it out of the outside wall, but unfortunately, there's the contact from J.R. Fitzpatrick.
What a desperate feeling that is when you lose control of your truck. You try to get on the gas. You're on the brakes. You're doing all you can to stay out of the outside wall. And then when he hit the outside wall, he couldn't keep the truck up there. It came back down the hill and got even more damage.
And it's more difficult on a flat racetrack like Phoenix to keep that thing out of the outside wall.
You see the trucks that are involved. Adam, what are they doing on that 23? They came back onto pit road.
Yeah, I think they wanted to make sure there were no tire rubs on the right side, because when they came down last lap, they did change right side tires. So Trip Bruce, you see him on screen here, the crew chief for Johnny Benson, said, come down, we're going to put some Bear Bond on the right side where they did receive a little bit of damage, and they also put some Bear Bond across the rear deck lid. And the reason they did that is Johnny said he felt like air was getting in through a hole where they had gotten some debris. So they were able to tape that up as well, send him on his way. You talk about a team that has been cool and calm under a pressure situation. These guys have done it, and they stand to have a huge advantage leaving here tonight if they can maintain the situation as it is right now.
It looked like a tin can was just opened up on the right side of Johnny Benson, but they think that's all superficial. Then it's not going to affect the handling of that truck.
Yeah, absolutely, right between the tires. That's the key. It didn't look like it hit either the right front or the right rear tires, so that's very minimal damage.
How about this? Northern Tool and Equipment. We got some Roush guys over here helping out. Ray, what's going on down there?
Well, they're helping, no doubt about it. A bunch of them jumped to the front here to see if they could do any work on the engine, but at some point you get too many cooks in the kitchen. So Rick Wren trying to do his best here to organize his guys, get everybody on a task. You have to have a plan here and get guys on each individual corner of this truck. Now, the left front appears to be where the most damage is. They've got a string on the right side. They've got to try to get the toe set over there. The right side trailing arm is bent just a little bit, Rick said, but not enough to replace it. So once they get that track bar fixed in the rear and get that rear fascia, bumper cover, and spoiler fixed, I think the back side of this truck's going to be okay. Their biggest challenge in the left front.
Let's take another look at how hard these two were racing when they came into turn 3.
Look how close. Ron Hornaday needed a foot to pull up in front of Kyle Busch and dive down in the third turn without anybody on his outside.
And this wouldn't have happened.
This would not have happened.
If that would have happened, this wouldn't have happened.
But Ron tried to stay off Kyle and tried to stay off. And then Kyle gave him all kinds of room sliding up the hill. Those two were working together to try to avoid this from happening. But would you think if you told Johnny Benson he was going to get in a wreck on the first lap, it would be with Ron Hornaday? It would be with Ron Hornaday?
No.
There's another view from the Goodyear blimp right here. You see the 51 of Kyle Busch just as he gets his nose to the outside. Ron, he was just so loose getting out in that corner. When he applied the brake, he felt like he had too much rear brake, and that actually accentuated that situation. And around he went, had to chase that truck up the hill.
You know, we've talked about how hard Kyle Busch races and how he pushes the envelope. I'm impressed that Kyle, he did everything perfect as a guy racing for the lead, but yet respecting a championship contender. What he did when he entered that third turn, he couldn't have done any better.
The hard hits. Also involved in this, that 40 of Mike Bliss.
Had a great truck in practice, Bliss did. Disappointing as can be to qualify somewhere near the back and hit the pole sitter on the first lap. How do you do that?
You can see these are the points as they run right now. Ron's only 15 points behind. That's because Johnny has made so many pit stops here. Very few trucks have been on pit road, but as Johnny starts passing trucks, once we get back racing, then that point lead is going to increase just about every lap.
Well, what we've got to remember, too, right now, those two aren't that far off on the scoring monitor because Johnny Benson was scored 30th the last time by Hornaday 33rd, but it's 6 laps difference between the two because Hornaday is not on the racetrack and Johnny Benson is on the racetrack. So he'll continue to put laps between he and Hornaday. Hornaday's team continuing to work extremely hard to get that truck back out on the racetrack. Lap number 1, and our point championship gets even crazier in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. What is it about lap number 1 at Arizona? I mean, seriously, Phoenix International Raceway, this was 2006. Johnny Benson gets sideways. It happens again tonight.
How similar did that look to what happened tonight, although Johnny kept his truck out of the outside wall, and we know the result of the race. He won that race.
Coming to the green flag again at Phoenix International Raceway. Out in front.
Green flag.
Kyle Busch will now lead the field to the green. Johnny Benson starts in the back of the field, and Ron Hornaday still behind the wall working on his truck.
Brian Scott is all over Kyle Busch on that start. He's wanting to get him some of that lead, isn't he, Phil?
He sure is. What a great job he's been doing here lately. Wants to get maybe his first top 5 of his career tonight.
Again, Kevin Harvick in that number 2 tonight here at Phoenix. He'll be making his way up to the front, we would expect. There's Johnny Benson. Again, had to restart at the back. He came onto pit road when pit road was closed, but it wasn't a big deal. They wanted to make sure that truck was ready to get back out on the track.
And remember, right now, every truck that Johnny Benson passes is 3 more points. Every single truck till he gets up towards the top 10. Every truck right now is 3 points. He just got by Michael Annett in the 9. He's going to get by John Wood here in a moment.
And I think it's really interesting to see. It'll be interesting for us to see what kind of truck Johnny Benson has tonight. You know, we've documented the last couple of weeks. He's been dominated by Ron Hornaday. As Ron's team and Ron work on his truck down in the garage area, let's see what Johnny Benson had for Ron tonight. Is that truck tuned up? I think if it is, that'll gain them confidence as they head for Miami next week to try to win this championship.
But, Michael, wouldn't you right now, if you're Johnny Benson, be really, really careful, really conservative, because he knows that Ron Hornaday's in the garage area?
Well, and Johnny is a smart race driver. You know, we talk about that all the time. He's gonna use his head, and he's gonna take care of that truck. But he needs to make some ground up. He knows what kind of truck Ron Hornaday's had at the mile-and-a-half bank tracks lately. He needs to get every point he can, so he's got a cushion when he heads to Miami.
How about this battle for 5th right here? We have Eric Darnell and the 2 of Kevin Harvick. Now, what do you think Kevin thought when he came around that racetrack and saw that 33 truck like it was?
Well, unbelievable. Kevin's built an incredible team. They've won lots of races, and he's a race car driver. You know how easy it is, Phil, to just make one mistake. And sometimes you make that mistake and you don't have to pay for it. You get away with it. Ron made a mistake there, and he had to pay for it.
We saw a couple years ago, Johnny got away with that mistake. Unfortunately, Ron did not get away with it tonight. There's Johnny going by the 15 of Kenny Wallace. That's a battle for the 21st position.
I think introductions are in store. I'm Rick Allen, and you are who again? Did you just say something about a driver being careful or cautious or conservative?
Absolutely. When
what are you talking about?
Line, well,
he wants to win this race.
Well, I'm sure he does want to win this race, but he needs to do it carefully.
And he is right now doing just what you said, Bill. He's tiptoeing through these trucks. He knows if he dives down into the third corner underneath another truck and that truck doesn't give him room, he could spin out too. So he's got to tiptoe inside of trucks as he's making his way toward the front. It's not time to be aggressive for Johnny Benson right now. He knows he's better than a lot of these trucks he's back there racing with. He just needs to put them behind him and then work his way toward the top 10, and then he might have to get a little aggressive.
And meanwhile, the 2 of Kevin Harvick gets that 5th spot from Eric Darnell.
Well, we heard Kevin talking in pre-race. He's got a great truck. Yeah. He said, I just didn't qualify it at all. I didn't do my job qualifying, and I think it's evident he drives around Darnell up into the 5th spot.
How about that 59 truck of Terry Cook trying to have another good run back-to-back? Finished 6th last week in Texas with a great run. Going to try to back it up with a top 5 here. There's his Team ASE onboard right there for Terry Cook. Harris Trucking, Jim Harris, the owner of this truck.
It's been fun to watch Terry jump in that 59, reunite with Jim Harris, and then have some success. Oh, yeah. They clicked right off the bat.
Yeah, it didn't look like they missed a beat from when they were working together before.
They look like he and Danny Rollins are really on the same page. Danny, the crew chief on this 59 truck, and doing a terrific job here right now, running 6th. As we go back to our leader, the 51 of Kyle Busch.
1.5 seconds the difference now between Kyle Busch and Brian Scott, 1 and 2. As you see Ron Hornaday climbing back into that truck. A lot of work that still has to be done, but they're getting ready to make their way back out onto the track. Here in the desert, just outside of Phoenix, things get crazy on lap number 1.
Crazy.
Our points championship is going crazy with 2 to go. Hey, NASCAR fans, come out and witness the crowning of this year's NASCAR Sprint Cup champion. Homestead Miami Speedway ticket packages are still available, starting at just $55. Visit www.homesteadmiamispeedway.com/SpeedTV or call 1-877-515-7223. Mention the speed offer and you will automatically be entered to win a pit road upgrade. Kyle Busch out in front of the field. Brian Scott, an impressive run for him up in 2nd. He's about 2 seconds back there. Scott Speed 3rd, and Kevin Harvick, the man on the move.
We talk about Johnny Benson. We talk about, there he is right here on our screen, being a little bit conservative. But, Mikey, he is 16 seconds behind our leader right now, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, things happen in such a hurry in NASCAR these days. There's no taking it easy. You'll find yourself a lap down. It happens that quick.
We talked about conservative. Is that conservative?
Not real. Not real conservative.
And look who pokes their nose inside there. Kenny Wallace driving on the inside of Johnny Benson. Johnny since has gotten around Kenny and
following David Starr.
Trying to catch back up to David Starr.
Ray, what have we found out about that 33 team?
Well, they've just got one more thing to do, and that is talking. Oh, we have the caution on the racetrack. Coming back to me in just a second, guys.
All right. It looks as though a caution on in turn 2. It's Russ Duggar in that 89 who brings out the 2nd caution of the night. This one doesn't include both of our championship competitors like the first one did.
That's incredible. I'm telling you, I never cease to be amazed when we watch these Truck Series races.
And so again, they are working feverishly to get that truck back out on the racetrack.
Rick Wren was checking up underneath the rear of the truck to see, we heard about the rear track bar, the bar that holds the rear end in place being bent. Truck bar bent.
Yeah, and Michael, that's exactly what I was starting to say, is they didn't have that track bar quite tight on the left side, so Rick Wren crawled under there to do that. They've got all the bare bond on. They welded bars on the front and the rear. They've got that all put back together, and Hornaday says he's going to check it out, make sure it'll steer okay. They bring it into the pits here to put a little bit of fuel into it. They've got brand new tires on this thing, and they'll be back to the track. I'm not sure what lap we're on. I'm sure you guys can tell us there, but a very, very monumental amount of work got done on that 33 truck in a very short period of time.
Yeah, we're right now, we will complete lap number 30, Ray, and obviously Ron has only completed 1 lap, so he will be 29 laps down. But the important thing is he's got to keep going around this racetrack, and he's going to look for these guys to have trouble and fall out. Every truck that falls out, that's 3 more points that Ron's going to get.
And I'm impressed with the job this team did. Look at this truck. It's bent, it's bruised, but it's pretty much all there. If they've got the wheels pointed in the right direction, they did a great job of getting that thing tuned up and back on the road.
Which that's what Hornaday's doing right now. He's making sure everything's pointed in the right direction.
If you wonder why this truck looks like this, I still can't believe it.
Let's take another look. This is lap number 1. Hornaday on the inside, Kyle Busch on the outside.
We're 3/4 of a mile into this 150-mile race here. Ron Hornaday down on the inside of Kyle Busch, gets loose. They make contact. Ron bounces off the outside wall, slides back down the racetrack, get hit real hard by Jared Fitzpatrick.
And, you know, as a race car driver, I love what Kyle Busch does here. Look at the separation he gave Ron Hornaday. He didn't go down in there and make Ron squeeze to the bottom to try to upset Ron's truck so he could lead that first lap. He said, let's go have us a race. We'll go down here and we'll race this thing out. I bet you Kyle could not imagine what happened to Ron, as I can't either.
It has been amazing. Ron Hornaday trying to make it back out on the racetrack. He's 29 laps down to race leader Kyle Busch. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Green flag just coming out here at Phoenix International Raceway. After our second caution, it's the Lucas Oil 150. Kyle Busch still out in front of Brian Scott.
Kevin Harvick dived to the inside of the 22 of Scott Speed. That's a battle for the 3rd spot.
Taking it away, and he might continue on and set his sights on Brian Scott now, early on in this run.
Scott Speed bounces off the wall.
Wow, what a close call there.
Tried to get on the outside of Ron Hornaday as they exited turn 4. Now he's on the inside of Hornaday. But it appears, Adam, what's going on with the 22?
He was saying under caution that he had a vibration under braking, and Doug Walcott, the crew chief, said, I think it might be an issue with a brake rotor. We'll watch it when we go back green. They did not want to give up the track position to pit, but that perhaps could have contributed to the problem there.
What a battle we have right here. Look at Brad Keselowski get loose on the inside of Todd Bodine.
Take a look at this. Todd Bodine shoots to the inside of that 99. Tries to get by Eric Darnell on the inside.
That's a glob. It's a wad of trucks. You know, Hornaday's right in the middle of all this mess, Rick. But what I'm seeing with that truck, it's good enough to keep running. You know, they did a good enough job when they repaired it. He can make laps the rest of the night. Now, he'll be making those laps thinking, I kind of hope somebody else has a little trouble too. Yeah, hope I'm not the Lone Ranger.
Like maybe that red truck, maybe, for instance, with 23 on it.
I had some bad luck. What would hurt if a few other people did as well?
Again, Hornaday 28 laps now down to the field. There you see the 23. Just a little damage on the right side of that truck, but it hasn't affected it as far as its performance on the track.
Racing alongside John West Townley. John West is in a backup truck. He hit the wall qualifying in that Zaxby's Ford. Johnny's making some good ground down on the bottom of the racetrack. Gets loose off 4 again. We saw him get loose earlier underneath David Starr and almost spun out. Now they're going to go 3 wide into 1.
Johnny's got to be thinking this isn't going to work. Backs off and lets the 7 by on the inside.
And that was Johnny Benson being careful, Rick. You wondered would he be careful earlier when Phil said that? That's exactly what just happened. He was 3 wide in the middle, and he said, I'm not forcing this issue.
You know, I don't see a great deal of speed right now out of Johnny Benson because he's running behind some trucks now. As we watch the Camping World onboard from Ron Hornaday, he's running behind some trucks that really he had passed earlier. Now they passed him back. See Ron Hornaday out here just trying to circulate, make laps. Just a few moments ago, he was caught up in a hornet's nest here. Watch him on the outside. You've got Eric Darnell in the middle, Todd Bodine on the inside. Ron kind of squeezes the 99 as Todd moves up the racetrack. Then he gets up. He said, hey, let me get out of the middle of this now. That's the last thing I want to do is get torn up again here. So let me get out of these guys' way. All I want to do is try to make some laps.
Yeah, and you can see what he's doing. He's making laps on the outside of the racetrack. He's giving people the bottom of the track. He knows this truck is drivable, as you see Johnny Benson going by on the inside. Ron is also now saying, Johnny got some damage in that crash as well. Wonder what kind of shape that truck's in. He also is very cognizant of the fact that you know, some 20 trucks went by on that lead lap before Johnny came by. Ron can do the math. He knows he's running somewhere around 30, 31st, 32nd right now. He knows that's only about 30 or 40 points where they stand right now. Certainly not enough to go to Homestead with a whole lot of confidence if you're Johnny Benson. He needs to keep going forward.
Well, Kyle Busch has been extremely strong ever since the drop of the green flag, and now he's got a 1.2-second lead over Brian Scott. Adam Alexander.
We have learned throughout the year that he is never satisfied with a race truck. And under caution a few moments ago, he said the truck is decent, a tick free. So far, so good for Kyle Busch. And they're already starting to talk about what they will do when the caution comes out again. I would anticipate he'll lead everybody down the pit lane when that happens.
Mikey, we're looking at the scoring monitor. You just pointed out the top 3 trucks that time were separated by 6 1,000ths of a second their last lap time.
That means they ran around this track just the same. No one's any better than the other. And this is far enough into a run. Guys know what their trucks have. That last lap, Kyle Busch in second place, Brian Scott, they tied again.
Exact
same time.
Lap time. How about Brian Scott putting together an extremely impressive run right now? His best performance ever has been a 7 at Talladega, and now he's running competitively right in the second spot.
Yeah, and Brian has 4 top 10 finishes in his last 6 starts, so that young man is really coming around here and doing a great job tonight. And look who he's running ahead of. This is Kevin Harvick. We talked at the beginning of the race. This guy's won in every division of NASCAR here at this racetrack.
A lot of success for Kevin Harvick. Here's 10, 11, and 12 on the racetrack.
These are 2 of the guys, Rick Crawford and Matt Crafton, that are in this battle for the 4th spot in points. They're battling it out on the racetrack too, and both trying to get into the top 5 in the season-ending point standings.
So Kyle Busch continuing to lead. Brian Scott running comparable lap times. So how long will it be before Brian Scott goes up there and challenges Kyle Busch for the lead? Come on back. Race 24 of the 2008 season starts off. Unbelievable. Lap number 1. And our championship contender behind the wall. They do a lot of work getting back out on the racetrack. He's making laps, and he's trying to make up some room on the racetrack, but he's got to get in front of some trucks that are just now coming off of the racetrack. Currently running 30th. He's 29 laps down to Kyle Busch. Kevin Harvick has been able to make the pass on Brian Scott and moves up to 2nd.
Yeah, all the talk in the garage area was that the 33 truck of Hornaday, the 2 of Harvick, the 51 of Kyle Busch, the 30 of Todd Bodine, as we watched Todd here trying to wrestle away the 4th spot from Scott Speed, were the trucks to beat in happy hour last night. Ooh, look at Scott get a little bit loose off the corner.
He was on the gas there, but the thing was out from underneath of him. Todd Bodine takes advantage of it and drops down to the inside of Scott Speed and takes over the 3rd spot.
52 laps into this 150-lap race. Johnny Benson running back in the 21st spot. He's off the pace.
He's not going anywhere either, Rick. He just lost that 20th spot to Dennis Setzer. Meanwhile, Hornaday has just picked up a couple of spots on the racetrack. He's moved up to 29th as they run on the track right now. Benson's only been able to mount a 30-point lead.
Here's Johnny's onboard right here, and you know, we thought maybe he didn't have much damage, or maybe he's got more damage than we thought, Ray.
And they're saying on the radio, Phil, that he's very, very tight in the center, but he said it's odd because in 1 and 2, it's much more pronounced than it is in 3 and 4. Now, they're going to make a track bar adjustment on the next stop for Johnny Benson. If they raise that track bar, it should loosen him up a little bit.
You know, I wonder maybe if that right rear tire got hit a little bit there with all that damage in the right side, maybe pull that housing around a little bit or something.
Or it could have knocked the toe in out on the right front. You know, the damage is right there behind the front tire, so there could indeed be some damage. Look at Harvick. Harvick's taking the lead away from Kyle Busch, or is he? Kyle hangs tough on the outside.
Kevin Harvick decides, I'm going to challenge for the top spot here. Kyle Busch says, no, not yet. I'm going to hold on to this. So Kyle Busch on the outside, Kevin Harvick on the bottom. They continue side by side here at Phoenix.
Kevin wants that lead. He's here to win this race. That 2-truck won a couple of races ago with Ryan Newman driving it.
Again, all over the back bumper. What are they talking about on the radio, Adam?
You know what? They're not saying a word. I'm not so sure that the situation that happened on lap 1 with their teammate and championship contender Ron Hornaday didn't put a sour taste in their mouth. Not because anybody did anything wrong, but just major disappointment. And so they have strapped up those competitive boots, and now they are going after Kyle Busch for the lead. This happening at lap 56, Ray.
Back in 4th position is Todd Bodine and his Lumber Liquidators Toyota. Now, Todd has been on the radio a couple of times telling his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., that he's tight in the center. They're also talking about a track bar adjustment here. But there's one other thing they're not quite sure about. Sometimes you get tight in the center because the splitter is dragging on the racetrack. And they think that the left front of that truck may be just a little bit too low. So they're wondering if just a little bit of air pressure in that left front might get that splitter back up off of the ground and help eliminate some of his tight condition.
That's what these crew chiefs have to balance, Phil. There are so many ways to adjust a truck. Even in 13 or 14 seconds on a pit stop, they can change air pressure. They can change the wedge in the truck. They can also raise the rear track bar. They've got literally dozens of combinations of adjustments that they can make to these vehicles.
See, Johnny Benson pulls back up on the rear tailgate of the 18 of Dennis Setzer. We saw Dennis pass Johnny about 10 laps ago. Johnny's been able to stay right with Dennis. Johnny right now is 20 seconds behind our leader, Kevin Harvick. And boy, I'll tell you, would Kevin Harvick love to come around and put Johnny Benson a lap down now?
Oh, that would make him feel a little bit better. Adam was right. They do have a sour taste in their mouth right now. If Kevin Harvick goes on to win this race, he's still going to be disappointed with what happened on lap 1. But that'll be some pretty good medicine for him to give himself if he can get that 2 truck in victory lane.
Kevin Harvick has not been to victory lane in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race since he was here at Phoenix quite a few years back.
Johnny Benson running on the inside of Dennis Setzer. You know, Phil, that truck week in and week out gets better and better as the race goes on. You know, once they get some laps on the tires, Johnny seems to improve. Once they're able to adjust on it on pit road a little bit, Johnny seems to improve. So while right now he's in a dangerous position of going a lap down, I think they'll make this truck better throughout the night.
Kevin Harvick right now, his lap times have slowed down a little bit from what he was running earlier. So right now, Johnny's not losing quite as much time, although he did that lap. He lost quite a bit of time because of that side-by-side battle he had with Dennis Setzer.
Battle for 6th and 7th over on the left side of your screen. Scott Speed just in front of the 19 of Brad Keselowski.
Remember, this is Brad Keselowski's own team right here, this 19 truck. Would love to run some next year. Looking for sponsorship to try to run maybe a half a dozen races himself, and then maybe another driver in some other races. Doing a great job right now. This is a Hendrick Motorsports engine, the same engine that Brad won with in Nashville in his Navy number 88. Ooh, a little contact there.
That was half a lap ago.
Wonder what started all that.
You wonder that something may have happened over there on the other end of the racetrack, but
that had all the look of a payback, saying, "Don't be hitting me, I'll hit you back."
That was a very compromising position to have Scott Speed in there in the dog leg on the backstretch.
Wide open, 160 or 70 miles an hour, and somebody's hitting you on your tailgate. That's no fun.
Now he goes to the inside, tries to take the position away from Scott Speed, and we've got another caution on the racetrack. This time it's the 50 of Craig Wood.
Another big break for Johnny Benson. Johnny had found himself 23.5 seconds behind. He was only about 5 seconds ahead of our leader, Kevin Harvick.
Craig Wood, you see there pictured on the left, he is the next truck ahead of Ron Hornaday. So while it's a break for Johnny Benson, it's also a break for Ron Hornaday. I don't know. These guys won't get this truck fixed well enough to stay ahead of Ron, I don't think.
Probably not. And they may not even try to stay on the racetrack.
Does Craig Wood look a little bit like Spicoli? I liked his hair.
Again, there's another look at what just took place.
Wow, I don't understand what happened.
Smashing into the inside barrier. So a lot of damage to the right side of that race truck. It looks like he's going to make the hard left turn.
That'll mean 3 more points for Ron Hornaday. Eventually, not right now.
It's going to take him 10 or 15 laps to get them, but he's going to get those 3 points, and that'll put Ron up to the 28th spot. And he's not going to get any worse than that, Phil. I believe this truck will continue to run all night long. He just has to look and see if anybody ahead of him is going to have any trouble. He could finish as well, you know, obviously up into the top 25 maybe.
And this could have been huge for Johnny Vincent to take advantage of this. But right now, Johnny Vincent is still running that conservative run that you talked about earlier, and right now he's in 21st.
Yeah, and he may take advantage later on. Yeah. We don't know what Johnny may have in store.
They're on pit road. Adam Alexander.
And Kevin Harvick, as we told you earlier, very quiet on the radio. They are going to make a slight air pressure adjustment, but no major changes to the chassis. They feel good about it. They are 8 laps from being able to go the distance here. First pit stops of the night, lap 64. Meanwhile, a handful of pit stalls in front of them. The guy that's been right behind him recently, we're talking about Kyle Busch. 4 tires and fuel, air pressure. Kyle says he needs more front grip. Let's go now to Ray Dunlap.
Todd Bodine in number 30 is out on this end of the racetrack, and he is trying to get that thing a little bit better through the center of the corner. He said, this is where we get him, guys. Todd Bodine came in running 4th. He is going to battle with the 2, and a lot of contact down at the end as the 7 tried to get out. Bodine will roll off pit road 3rd, but, man, it was tight for him and Harvick.
Kyle Busch looks like he's going to win the race off pit road. TJ Bell moves up 14 spots to 2nd. Todd Bodine coming off 3rd.
Yeah, TJ must have done a 2-tire change. Butch Hilton decided to roll the dice here, put 2 tires, get some track position.
Let's take a look at this race off of pit road.
Check these guys out.
See, Kevin gets his 4 tires. He pulls out. Here's Kyle Busch right there.
Kevin checking up. Didn't want to have any contact there early in this race.
And remember, these guys pick their pitches. You see Todd Bodine. Ooh.
Todd right into the 2 of Kevin Harvick.
Todd had to avoid the 7 of TJ Bell. They picked these pits by owner points. They actually picked them last week for this race.
We'll be back with more of the Lucas Oil 150 from Phoenix International Raceway after these messages.
Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Just for Men. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. By Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. And by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning.
Tonight's aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on silent armor technology with the strength of Kevlar for toughness and a comfortable ride. Chris Devota's actually ridden in the Goodyear blend.
She has. Yeah. I remember that.
And she was up on Rattlesnake Hill earlier. It's time to test your Truck Series knowledge with Aaron's Lucky Guess trivia question. Has a team ever won 3 races in a row with 3 different drivers? Now, do you understand the question?
I do.
A race team, have they ever won 3 races in a row with 3 different drivers? And the reason we bring this up is it's potentially going to happen tonight.
It is?
That's correct.
Yes.
Kevin Harvick right now is out. He was out in front.
Ryan Newman won.
Ryan Newman. Ron Hornaday.
Yep.
And now Kevin Harvick potentially could win. Has it ever happened before? Green flag back in the air here at Phoenix.
Oh, let me clarify one thing. Now, is that a Truck Series only question?
Truck Series only, yes.
I thought when you first asked it, I thought you meant in the same truck. But you're saying the team.
The team, exactly. That's why I tried to clarify there.
Yeah.
It's a team, and have they ever done it?
Yeah, like, for instance, a Johnny Benson, Mike Skinner, Scott Speed, all winning consecutively.
Exactly. Back to green flag racing here at Phoenix International Raceway. We're on lap 70 of 150.
I would bet if it has happened, it's only happened once. That'd be pretty rare.
So you're going to say one time it's happened?
I'm going to say one time, but I have no idea who it would be.
Okay.
We've got a great battle right here. There's Kevin Harvick, that 2 truck. Brian Scott, the 16. Adam, what's going on with Kevin Harvick?
He was not happy after that last pit stop. He came in the leader, as Rick said a moment ago. He has dropped back now, riding in the 4th position. One of the reasons the 7 truck at TJ Bell got 2 tires, but he said on the radio, if you guys are going to win races, you're going to have to do something on pit road. Harvick taking matters into his own hands on the track. Meanwhile, right behind him, Brian Scott, 4 tires and fuel at lap 64. They said they are good to go the distance.
I was wondering here, most of these guys came in on lap number 64. Then we had a handful of caution laps. Ooh, contact.
almost getting turned around. The 22 of Scott Speed. He straightens it back out and gets back up to speed.
He got into it with Eric Darnell there, Phil.
He ran into the left rear quarter of Eric Darnell, as we see Eric now on the outside of Brad Keselowski in the 19 truck.
Now, I'm impressed with the 7 truck of TJ Bell. He's currently riding 4th. Todd Bodine and Harvick, you see, they're ahead of him. But on 2 tires, he's gotten off to a pretty good start on this restart. Losing ground here, though, in the center of the corner.
Yeah, Brian Scott and Mike Skinner now have since gone by the 7. You see him fighting that truck off turn number 4.
It looked like when they first threw the green flag, that 2-tire strategy was going to work for that team.
Speaking of fighting, these two continue to battle it out. Brad Keselowski in the 19, Eric Darnell in the 99. Both trying to get by that 7 of TJ Bell. Eric Darnell, the first one to make an effort at it. Ray, what are they talking about in that camp?
Well, Eric Darnell not very happy at all. I'll tell you, I'm looking at all the pit times down here for the pit stops on that first round at 64, and it appears to me like the 99 crew may have had the very fastest stop of anybody, but then he couldn't leave his pit stall because right in front of him was the number 9 truck who had stopped in the very back part of their stall. So Darnell got blocked in, had to throw it into reverse and back up to pull out, so they lost about 5 spots on pit road, even though they had an excellent pit stop by the 99 crew.
Boy, Ray, this battle is really waging on the racetrack. We've got Brad Keselowski, the 19 on the inside. Eric Darnell, they just split TJ Bell, got by him, brought the 59 of Terry Cook with him. But just a few moments ago, look on
that right side of your screen.
Same thing as what happened to Ron Hornaday at the start of the race. The 22 got down in the corner there, Phil, on the inside of Eric Darnell, lost his truck, got loose, ran into Darnell, and was lucky to keep it out of the fence.
See Terry Cook going to try to get by the 19 of Brad Keselowski on the outside. That will be a battle for the 7th position.
Terry Cook jumped up on the outside of Keselowski when Keselowski was battling with Darnell. Looks like he's going to make that pass on the high side.
Terry's going to use the whole racetrack there, right out next to the outside wall, exiting turn number 2.
Yeah, they haven't got this decided yet.
Wow, Brad dives hard into 3. Going to make it stick.
We saw what happened there.
Yeah, it almost happened again. He slid up the hill.
Say what a nice job Brad did last week in his Sprint Cup debut at Texas with a top 20 finish.
Well, we know how tough it is for these guys to race nationwide cars or these trucks and then jump into the new car that you run in the Cup Series. The new car is much different than these vehicles, and it causes the learning curve to be much steeper than it used to be. But Brad just did a great job in his debut.
Okay, Johnny's starting to flex his muscles a little bit. He's got some great trucks he's racing with. Ooh, look at Colin Brown.
6. He's going to go around. Into the wall goes Colin Brown. And that was contact with the 23 of Johnny Benson. And a caution comes out once again, the 4th one of the night.
Colin was on the inside of Johnny. They were racing hard coming off turn number 4. Colin got loose on the inside there, lost control of that Conway Ford, and unfortunately a lot of damage to that truck.
Now, it wasn't that long ago that the caution came out on lap 62. Would we see anyone duck in and say, okay, now if I had any questions, I'm going to come onto pit road for my final time?
I think absolutely, because not all these guys are getting good enough fuel mileage to have made it from that last pit stop. I think we'll see a lot of guys come down pit road to make sure they have enough fuel, because you have to think about a green-white checker too.
One guy that'll come is TJ Bell. He started off really good on those 2 tires, and it went away. He was losing spot lap after lap. So look for TJ to come to pit road, and it'd be interesting. What if you're leading the race, Phil? What if you're Kyle Busch? Do you pit?
What? You see, watch this now.
I know.
You see Colin gets loose off the corner, and then the 23 of Johnny Benson was right there. Johnny gave him plenty of room, but Colin just got loose on the inside. I think Richie Waters, I think he might bring Kyle Busch down pit road.
If it's time to pit, if you don't have enough gas to get to the finish, you better pit now.
You got to come. You got to come.
Yes.
You can decide later if we get a later caution to come again, but you have to come now to make sure you have enough fuel to get to the end.
And maybe you just throw some gas in it.
A little bit of fuel, top it off, and then head back out on.
They only have about 10 green flag laps on these tires. As you mentioned, TJ's going to want him 4 tires, but the rest of these guys may come in just for a drop of fuel. But pit road is open, and Kyle Busch is staying on the racetrack along with most of the other trucks right now that are on the lead lap.
I bet bet you Colin Brown thought that he had gotten a little bit loose, but I bet you he thought he could save it. And the thing just hung there, Phil. It just wouldn't quite get back up under him, and it put him on the inside, into the inside wall. We got a lucky dog here, John Wood. Aarons is giving that away.
John Wood will get a lap back, and he runs 25th right now on the racetrack, and there'll be 25 on the lead lap. Ron Hornaday running 29th. All right, let's find out the Aaron's Lucky Guess trivia question. Has a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series team ever won 3 races in a row with 3 different drivers?
I'm going to say no.
Michael thought one time?
I'm going to say once that's happened.
It has never happened. Never happened, but could happen tonight. Now, 2 in a row with 2 different drivers has happened 9 times. And it happened just recently.
I think KHI with Kevin Harvick aboard tonight has a great chance to make it the first time.
It could happen. 9 times, though. Roush Fenway's done it 3 times. Ultra Motorsports did it 3 times. And Bobby Hamilton Racing did it twice. And then, of course, KHI is on the run right now, 2, going for 3. Right?
I just wanted to give you an update real quick on Johnny Benson, guys. You know, earlier you guys were wondering exactly what was wrong with his truck. Well, he said he had absolutely no side bites. So when they pitted there on 64, some major changes to that Toyota. They added wedge to it. They changed the track bar. They added air pressure. Trip Bruce giving a big swing at that thing, trying to make it better. They know about Hornaday's troubles tonight, and they need to capitalize. And so far, that 23 running back in 15th, not gaining as many points as they'd like to here at Phoenix. Adam?
Following up on tonight's trivia question and updating Kevin Harvick's chances of making it 3 in a row for KHI with 3 different drivers. He said if they're going to win tonight, they need to free it up a touch, and they will do that on their next pit stop if, in fact, they do make another trip down pit road.
Well, there you have it. Strategy might come back into play. They might come back down as we get a little closer to the end of this one. We have completed 82 of the 150. We're past halfway. We'll be back for more.
You know, for years I've been a big fan of Craftsman tools, but what I'm not a fan of is a junky old fan on your workbench. I think I got this one at the city dump, and by the way, it has a cord. That's no good, and I've been wanting to throw that one away for a long time because I got a brand new product, and I love it. Number one, this fan has 2 speeds, and you can flip it from low to high just that easy. You can move it back and forth like this to send the air wherever you want it to go, and what's really cool is it operates on Sears standard 19.2 volt battery, just like I use in my cordless drill. So whenever I head out to the work site, I promise you, everybody's going to be saying that I'm really cool.
I'm actually thinking a little more hot air there, but maybe cool.
I'm telling you, that 19.2 volt battery will run anything. We see it every week.
It sure will. Well, in this holiday season, why don't you give the gift of speed? The Richard Petty driving experience has 2 great offers. For $49, you can give friends or family the thrill of a high-speed ride along, or for $3.99, you can put them in the driver's seat for 8 exciting laps. Go to 1-800-BPetty.com for more information.
I'm telling you, I've talked to a lot of fans, and I'm sure, Michael, you have too, that have done the Petty driving experience. Not one of those fans has ever come away from there disappointed.
I love it. I love when Napa sends us sometime to the Petty school to give rides, and it's my job to scare those people. I want to go as fast and as hard as I can, and the cars are perfect. I love the Petty driving experience.
Hey, Adam Alexander, what are they talking about fuel mileage down there?
I just talked to Richie Waters, crew chief for Kyle Busch. He said they're pretty close right now, but he feels like they'll need tires before this one is over. And Ernie Cope, the crew chief for Kevin Harvick, who's riding second, said 5 to 7 more laps under caution before we're good to go. Back under green.
Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, 1 and 2 when the green flag dropped this time. Todd Bodine running in the 3rd spot. Brian Scott's dropped back to 4th. Mike Skinner rounding out our top 5.
Saw a little speed zorb down there on the racetrack in 1 and 2. Looked like these trucks were smoking a little bit, but they'll get that blown off there in a lap or so.
Kyle Busch has been so strong tonight. Can Kevin Harvick reel that guy in and finally get by him?
I think that's the fastest truck. I think Kevin Harvick does have the best truck, Rick. So, yes, I'd say he'll get up there and get with Kyle Busch.
Ooh, Johnny.
Oh, no, Johnny's in it. Johnny Benson gets involved in this one once again. The 7th gets into the wall, and now a caution comes out, and our championship contender gets involved again.
This is damage. This will hurt that truck. Look at how hard he hit. Watch when he hits this wall.
It's unbelievable.
Look at the splitter and the damage to the right side and the middle of that truck.
Yeah, and look at the right rear corner. Look at all the damage now. Look at that. I'm telling you, I believe that's pulled that right rear tire back a little bit, too.
He's got to go behind the wall. That rear end housing, look at the way the right rear tire is knocked flat. It's sticking out the left quarter panel. See how his tire's out on the left?
Would you ever have imagined when we started this race that the two trucks battling for a championship would look this bad, and we just passed halfway?
No, look at the toe out on that right front wheel there. He's got significant damage.
He bounced off that outside wall. He's saying the steering wheel's fairly straight, but we obviously see there's a lot of toe in that front end that they'll have to. I think that's behind the wall, Phil.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that, look at the right rear tire there. It's towed out as well, and it's got the whole rear end housing pushed over to the left. He may have more suspension damage than Ron Hornaday had.
I think this truck's torn up suspension-wise way worse than Ron's. And, you know, you can beat around fenders. You can bash down the back of the truck like they're doing there. That's easy. But this suspension issues, that's not easy. That takes time.
Replacing pieces is what that's going to happen.
That takes a lot of time. You can see TJ Bell in the SpongeTech.com truck. This guy's just got together entering the first corner. Ray, what's happening?
Trip Bruce is talking on the radio here, Michael. I was just trying to listen to see. Johnny Benson said that he didn't feel like the rear end housing had broken completely loose. It may be out of line, but so the guys are underneath there trying to get an update on that to see exactly what's going on. And they're checking on the right front here, too. I'll get back to you with another update in a few laps.
Now, when this happened, Johnny Benson had a 51-point lead over Ron Hornaday. That's all going to start going away.
As they ran. That's why that gets on my nerves. Because now, as they run, Johnny's got a 21-point lead over Ron Hornaday, and that's going to...
And that's going to change as
well.
well.
That's going to change.
That's going to probably...
Well, right now,
shrink.
Johnny Benson is being shown in the 24th position. Ron Hornaday in the 29th position. Brett Thompson right now is in the 25th position. He's one lap down. Johnny has already lost one lap, and he's got enough damage. He's at least going to lose that position right there to Brett Thompson.
And the four trucks that are between Johnny and Ron right now, 3 of them are out of the race. So that means Ron's going to pass those trucks.
These trucks may finish together.
They might finish together.
And there is a possibility, because back here you get 3 points per position, there's a possibility that we could have no points separate the two when we get to the end of this race.
That would be a tie.
We would have.
Let's see what happened.
Yeah,
Johnny Benson's down on the inside of TJ Bell when they get to turn 1. Ooh. Johnny's in trouble from the word go.
Hard.
Yeah, Johnny just expected TJ to go in a little wider, give him a little bit more room. Johnny had that inside wall coming up on his left, and they just made contact entering turn number 1.
Looked like Johnny got in trouble in a hurry, though, Phil. As soon as he let off the gas, I think the truck either bottomed out and he pushed and got up toward TJ Bell, or he got loose. It didn't look normal from the time they let off the gas trying to get into turn 1. Watch right here. See him just sort of bobble as he gets into 1.
And then Johnny just had to chase it uphill. Once they made the contact, he couldn't stay off TJ, couldn't stay out of the outside wall.
Right along with Johnny.
This is the view we had originally had. There's the contact right there. Now he just can't get away from TJ. You hear that contact with the outside wall.
Ron's truck slid a long way, you know, before he hit the wall, and then he got hit in the side, basically, once he came to a rest on the inside of the track, doing a lot of cosmetic damage to that truck, but not a whole lot of mechanical damage. Now you hear Johnny Benson saying he thinks he's got a broken rotor. This is big. He'll have to go behind the wall and fix that truck.
Yeah, we see a lot of the guys going, that's a crash cart right there. They're gonna try to get the parts, whatever parts they may need for that truck.
Pull the right front back off, Billy. Check down exactly what's broke on the thing. Coming around the corner, guys. Brake.
That was Trip Bruce, the crew chief, talking on the radio to Johnny.
So the 23.
That should be straight on the steering wheel. Check the toe again. See if the rear end. Make sure the panel bearing broke.
Adam Alexander.
And you can see the repairs being made to Johnny Benson's race truck. Tough situation for them. And when he made that first trip down pit road, passing the pit area for Kevin Harvick, Ernie Cope, the crew chief for Kevin, spotted what had happened. He got on the radio and told Kevin Harvick, you see Harvick here, pretty damaged up is that 23 truck. Harvick came back and said, that's the best news I've heard all day. So what was a disappointing start to this race is getting better and better from Harvick's perspective, and it looks like the tough stuff just beginning for Benson. Ray?
Yeah, and down here, Adam, Johnny Benson saying on the radio that he feels like something's broke, whether it's in the rear end. Now, the crew went underneath and said that the Panhard bar, which locates the center of the rear end, is bent, but it is not broken. Now, if that was broken, the entire wheels would flop all the way on the inside or outside of the body, but it's not broken, it's bent. Johnny said, can we straighten that? Then the next question was, what about the right front? Do we have anything broken in the steering? Because he felt like either there was a broken rotor or something in the steering. Those guys are looking up front. Everybody's shaking their head no, that nothing is broken. Next question is, do they have to go behind the wall, put this thing up on jack stands to get a better look?
Well, Ray talked about everyone shaking their heads. Everyone watching is shaking their heads, saying, I don't believe what is happening in this championship battle.
I know us three up here are shaking our heads, that's for sure.
That's the two best guys all year long. Two best guys all year long, both crashed their truck.
Lap number 1, we've got an issue. Now, on lap 87, he was leading the points coming into this race. He is into the wall and could be behind the wall to work on that race truck. A lot of damage now for Johnny Benson. A lot of things to overcome. Green flag back in the air here at Phoenix International Raceway. What amazing turns of events have taken place today. It's Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, 1 and 2 on the racetrack, 1 and 2 on the points. I'm mired way back at, well, 25th and 28th.
I never dreamed after that first lap incident with Ron Hornaday that we would be saying the same thing about Johnny Benson some 90 laps later.
Yeah, and, you know, they didn't do as good a job as Hornaday's crowd did getting repairs made to this truck. They wasted a lot of time under caution coming in and out of the pit when they could have been behind the wall affecting repairs. Ron's guy, he knew his damage was bad. He drove right back behind the wall while they were cleaning up the mess. They were working on the truck. Johnny wasted that whole caution period riding around the track.
It seemed like originally he didn't think he had as much damage as he actually did.
Meanwhile, there's a guy right there in that 2 truck that's got a little shot of adrenaline. He knows that he's back in this championship hunt with the truck he owns with Ron Hornaday.
And so he is all over the back bumper now of Kyle Busch.
And that truck's working down on the bottom. They'll look at him, look underneath Kyle Busch. He'll get that. He'll get underneath him off 2. And that truck is fast down in 3 and 4. Watch how low he goes.
Kyle Busch looks like, well, no, he's not going to let him by. He's going to work hard on the outside. Kevin Harvick working the inside. Again, this is a battle for the lead here at Phoenix.
And these guys are having a blast right now.
Kyle's having more fun than Kevin. Kevin's trying to figure out how to keep that truck off Kyle and get the lead at the same time. It's tough, Phil, to get under a truck and make the pass. We've seen that a couple of times already with our point leader.
Yeah, look at Todd Bodine. He's made some improvements to his truck, it looks like. He's right up there with these front 2.
Top 3, you can throw a blanket over him right now here at Phoenix International Raceway. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Todd Bodine, 1, 2, and 3.
Brian Scott and Mike Skinner. Solid run for both those trucks tonight. Yeah. Obviously, Brian Scott, we haven't seen him show this type of speed before. This is fun to watch, but it's also cool to see Skinner get his stuff together. That truck hadn't been running well as of late, and tonight he's got that thing dialed in.
It seems like ever since that win at Las Vegas, that Mike Skinner has not been as good, but he's got a pretty good run going here up in the top 5.
Harvick gets around that 51. He's going to drive away from these guys. He is really, really fast. I like the way that truck looks. I like how he's able to dive down to the bottom of the racetrack under the yellow line like you see Brian Scott doing right there. That's what you want to be able to do.
He's going to give another whirl here as he gets down to the inside through the dogleg on the backstretch.
Still there. Still outside.
Kyle still able to charge on the outside. Will he make the pass? Coming out of turn number 4, Kevin Harvick now in front of Kyle Busch across the start-finish line.
Now we'll see if Kevin can drive away from Kyle Busch.
I don't think there's any doubt. I like the way that truck looks.
2 different drivers have been out in front, Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch led 91 laps. Kevin Harvick has now led 10.
strategy could come into play. You know, we're winding laps down. We're inside of 50 to go. These guys, some of them need another pit stop. Some of them think they don't.
Scott Speed on the inside of that 81 of Donnie Leon. Now, Scott Speed's been into the wall, the right side damage on that race truck.
I think right now we've completed 101 laps. I think the guys that are going to pit again feel like they have to pit again. They would like to do it about now. They don't want this thing to go so long. They're not going to have enough time to try to make up the ground, because there are some trucks that may stay on the racetrack. So the guys that are going to pit, they know they're going to pit, they'd like to do it right now.
They would like the caution to fly right now, and that's what's fun about racing when you have strategy played into it. What if this caution doesn't fall now? What if the caution comes out with 10 or 15 to go? Then what do you do?
What kind of a gamble do you make? Do you put tires on? Do you just do fuel if you think you might be close?
These two are looking like they're trying to create a caution.
If you can make it all the way with 10 or 15 laps to go and you're up front, you stay out.
Track position is key here at Phoenix. Adam Alexander.
And Kyle Busch lost the most important part of the track position that he had, that being the lead. And right after Kevin Harvick made that pass for the top spot at lap 100, Busch immediately came on the radio and said, I can't go. I'm too loose. They told him to hang in, and they would get him fixed up, almost insinuating they would come down if the caution were to fly. Meanwhile, you guys have talked all night about how solid Brian Scott has been, currently riding in the 4th position. Well, him running good has been something that has happened over and over lately. He finished 29th in Indianapolis in late July. Since that time, outside the top 15 only once, and he's been in the top 10 4 of the last 6 races, Ray.
Adam, down on my end, it's almost amazing how the damage on this 23 was similar to what we saw earlier on Ron Hornaday's. On the right front of Johnny Benson's truck, they've got to replace the rotor. That's Billy Haggerty there that's working on it. He's the truck chief for this team. They're getting ready to take that rotor off, put a new one on, and a brake caliper. On the rear end, it was the track bar, and they decided that it was going to break, so they're replacing it, taking the old one off, putting on a new track bar. It's going to be at least another 15 or 18 laps to get this work done, and the time is ticking by for Johnny Benson. Adam?
It's been a nice night for Mike Skinner, up in the top 5, a place we have not seen him in recent weeks. He wants to make the truck turn better. They just told him, hook the bottom. That will help you turn the truck. They're one of the teams that feels like they can go the distance from here, should we not see the caution again, but it would be close.
There's that 59 truck right there, just going out of your picture. Terry Cook, that's his Team ASC onboard right there. Currently running in the 6th spot. Terry coming off a 6th place finish last week at Texas, going to try to follow it up with a top 5 finish. You see Eric Darnell right behind him. These guys have been together racing just about this entire race.
Now, I think we've got to touch on the fact that if we continue this green flag racing, what that means is less time for Johnny Benson to work on that truck before Ron Hornaday catches up to him as far as laps they've completed. It's 74 laps that Ron Hornaday has completed, 88 that Johnny Benson has completed. So there are only 14 laps that separate those two, and Benson's behind the wall right now.
It would not surprise me to see Ron Hornaday finish ahead of Johnny Benson in this race. It would not surprise me.
Nothing should surprise us now after what we have seen from the start of this race. Kevin Harvick, the owner of the 33 truck, is currently leading this race. Can he make it 3 wins at this racetrack? We're going to find out. Stay with us.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Ford, who invite you to tune in to Ford Championship Weekend on Speed, November 14th.
Sunday on Speed, don't miss NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot. With only 2 races to go in the chase, it's now or never for some of the top championship contenders, and only one pre-race show can handle all the excitement. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot. Live coverage from Phoenix begins Sunday at 1 Eastern. Kenny Wallace will bring you some excitement on that set.
You know who the real deal is going to be with?
I believe it is with the guy who's trying to challenge Jimmy Johnson for this championship, Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards will be the real deal with Wendy.
That's right. And right now, Kevin Harvick is the real deal.
He is the real deal. Kyle Busch is back 1.35 seconds from Kevin Harvick, so he's starting to check out. But, Michael, you said earlier you think that 30 might be one of the best trucks on the track.
Yeah, Todd's really fast. He's got hung up behind Kyle Busch. A couple of laps ago, he dropped off Kyle, and ran some really fast lap times catching back up, faster than the leader. But now it appears they've stabilized.
Hey, right now we've only got 34 laps to go, so we're getting out of that window that people are going to want to stop. We go another 10 laps, and I think all these trucks are going to say, hey, we're not going to have enough time to come down pit road, even though we can put fresh tires on. Track position so critical here. I'm not sure they're going to stop.
In 5 laps, Ron Hornaday is going to pass Johnny Benson in 5 laps.
He's also in 3 going to get TJ Bell. So as they run on the track right now, it's a 12-point lead for Johnny Benson. But as Rick said, that's getting ready to change.
Yep.
Terry Cook looking back at Eric Darnell and that Northern Tool and Equipment Ford F-150.
That truck's been really strong. Eric Darnell's had a great pit stop earlier in the race, and Eric's been battling with Terry Cook.
And remember, when Ron Hornaday passes Johnny Benson, that's a double, because that's 3 points that Ron's going to have more and 3 less that Johnny's going to have. So,
and they'll be even. They'll be even. There'll be 0 points difference between the two of them because there was 6 points coming in.
Well, when he passes TJ Bell, he's going to be 9 behind.
Right.
And then when he passes Johnny, he's going to be 3 behind.
Yeah, it's only one.
Oh, that was a 6-point swing, you said.
Well, yes, but it's going from 9 to 3, not 9 to 0.
Okay. If he passes one more vehicle
after that
drops back one,
we could theoretically
walk away with
absolutely
it being no points separating the top 2.
Rick is really trying to get that.
I'm working on that.
He wants that math to add up to be 0 so bad. He's making stuff up.
Well, it's exciting that we came into this race and we were the closest in the Truck Series history points-wise. We could leave this race and it would be very difficult to outdo what used to be the record, which was 1 point that separated the top 2. But we could feasibly do it.
I know you want 0. We know you want 0. We'll work on it for you here.
Let's get that happen.
Let's get this race finished first here before we see what happens.
Well, I'm sure that Kevin Harvick would like it to be finished right away because Kevin Harvick out in front by 1.5 seconds. Kyle Busch runs 2nd. Todd Bodine is 3rd. Brian Scott 4th. And Mike Skinner 5th.
But you remember at Martinsville, Phil, both the 33 and the 2 truck didn't have enough gas to get to the finish. They both ran out. Gas mileage could play into who wins this race here tonight. So don't be inscribing Kevin Harvick's name on the trophy yet.
Battle for 9th right there we've got.
Or
that's
you
Matt
can
Crafton
engrave it. We won't engrave it either.
I knew I was struggling for a word there. But there's a lot of stuff that's going to go down over these next 19, 20 laps.
This battle for 6th right here, Terry Cook. There's the 88 of Matt Crafton. He just got by the 14 of Rick Crawford while you were inscribing and transcribing and engraving.
Well, he was trying to make the points lead, Ty.
This battle continues between Terry Cook and Eric Darnell. Again, a battle for 6th right now. The Team ASA on board of Terry Cook. Already announced that Eric Darnell will run a limited nationwide schedule for Roush Fenway next year. So great move on up the totem pole for Eric. And right now, meanwhile, as you see Eric get all over the back of Terry Cook, Kevin Harvick has about a 2.5 lead at him.
And that is good news because he may need to be very, very easy on this race truck down the stretch, ensuring that he can go the distance on fuel. I just talked to his crew chief, Ernie Cope, asked him how close is it, and he put his thumb and pointing finger really close together, indicating it is going to be tight. And it's been 5 laps of caution since he said they needed 5 to 7 laps under the caution flag to be able to go all the way. It could be interesting, Ray.
And Adam, it's very close to that down here on my end where Todd Bodine is currently running in 3rd. Mike Hillman Jr. told me the same thing. And he had been on the radio with Todd a number of times saying, please, driver, do whatever you can to save a little bit of fuel. Todd came back on the radio and said, guys, I'm driving this thing hard, trying to get to the front. I promise you, I'm not saving any fuel. The good news may be that he's in a Toyota. They think there's a possibility that with that smaller tapered spacer on it, that the Toyotas may get just a little bit better gas mileage than the Chevys.
Look at this, the 23 truck, they're pushing it back. They're going to put it back out on the racetrack. The one bad thing right now for Ron Hornaday is there's not enough laps left in the race for him to gain any positions.
You know, or Johnny Benson, the only truck he can pass right now during the remaining laps is Ron Hornaday. Who?
Johnny Benson making his way back out on the racetrack. Kevin Harvick continuing to lead this race in the desert. Maybe it's the desert air that brings out, well, the best and the worst in these drivers, but we have had some issues take place, and our championship gets even tighter with one to go. Johnny Benson tried to make it back out on the racetrack, had problems with the right front. It put him in the wall again. And so another caution has come out here. It's the 6th of the evening. This one coming out with 129 laps complete. And Johnny Benson will have to go back behind the wall again. Adam Alexander.
And that 51 of Kyle Busch had just on the radio said, I think I've got a tire going down. Major concerns for them. And then the caution flies, bailing them out, so to speak, so they did not have to come down under green. He was free that entire run. They talked about changing it with air pressure. 4 tires, top off the fuel tank. No doubt he is good to go on fuel. Only 20 laps to go, Ray.
And just before Johnny Benson got back into the wall, he had come on the radio and said, let's pit, put the hood up, and put about 4 rounds into the right front. He felt like it was dragging over there. Now the guys are trying to examine. Remember, that's where they put the brand new rotor on. So hopefully he didn't get into the wall too hard there. They're raising the right front, and they're going to put a new tire on that side and put the hood back down and see if Johnny can make a few more laps here. And as you guys said, the next truck ahead of him on the scoring order is Ron Hornaday with a difference of about 5 laps between them.
Well, that won't change, Ray. Those guys could quit right there now, Phil, and not lose any more positions.
And Hornaday's not going to move ahead either.
No, it's all going to stay there. We're going to leave here with a 3-point difference in the championship standings. It's awesome that we've got a battle like that.
And here's where he was talking about the right front blowing out. He had some problems here.
Yeah, he was all over the racetrack. Yeah, then he gets down there. I think something may have been rubbing. I'm not sure the right front. Now the right front tire is flat even before he hits the wall. So something was obviously rubbing that right front tire. It went down. Johnny makes contact with the wall. But meanwhile, that's a huge break. Just watch Terry Cook. He's going to watch Ron Hornaday. Johnny Benson. This is before that previous lap, before Johnny lost that tire.
Terry Cook was glad to get around him at that point because he'd been on the outside of him down in turn 1. This is...
Yeah, you heard the tire go down, and then he couldn't turn the truck. But what a huge break for our leader, Kevin Harvick. We knew he may need a little bit more insurance to have enough fuel to get to the end. He's going to get these caution laps, and they're coming from Johnny Benson.
Just got that insurance. It's Trip Bruce, and he is scratching his head. How did this day end the way it has? Let's take a look. At the very beginning of this race, lap number 1. That's Ron Hornaday, 6 points behind Johnny Benson when the race started. He's in the wall.
We figure it's all over for Ron Hornaday. We're going to Homestead with a huge point lead for Johnny Benson, even though Johnny got a little bit of damage from that incident. He actually ran into Ron Hornaday.
So after all of this, they go behind the wall, and this team goes to work. And they work feverishly to get this race truck back out on the racetrack. And a lot of guys were working on this truck. Not only the driver, but we had other teams that were working on it. And right back out onto the racetrack they go. They're 29 laps down. But he's on the racetrack.
See right there, Ron Hornaday in the middle of a big bunch of trucks. He backs out, try to be safely.
As you mentioned, Johnny Benson, we thought if he gets through this unscathed, he is going to have a huge point lead when he leaves here. But, a little bit of damage right there.
Could you imagine if they told Johnny Benson he was going to wreck on the first lap with the point lead, with the guy he's racing for the championship? How could that happen? You would not imagine how it could happen. And watch this. Colin Brown gets all over the inside of Johnny's truck. Colin hits the wall. Johnny avoids another close call.
He did not avoid this one, though, unfortunately. He gets together with T.J. Bell entering turn number 1. He makes contact with T.J. and the outside wall and had to go behind the wall for extensive repairs, and we're back under green.
Green flag back in the air. Kevin Harvick now with that insurance of a couple laps of caution. He thinks he can make it on fuel, but can he stay in front of that 30 of Todd Bodine?
Check out Eric Darnell. He's jumped up on the outside of Mike Skinner, battling for 4th. Can he hold that spot? Skinner dives into turn 3.
Brad Keselowski also racing out there, trying to get by not only the 5 at the 99. He's just behind them, watching to see what will transpire in front of him.
Looks like Eric was able to make the pass to take over that spot from Mike Skinner. That moves him up to 4th. Brad Keselowski looks to the outside of Skinner.
Now trying to take that position away from Skinner. That's for 5th. Brad Keselowski runs 6th. Side by side as they go into 3.
Skinner had a rough start, a rough restart here, Phil, losing 2 spots, letting guys jump up on the outside of him. This truck pitted. Kyle Busch was on pit road for tires. He's driving around Kenny Wallace for the 10th spot. Man, he's fast. He gets a caution. Does he need a caution? If he gets a caution, he might still win this race.
Brian Scott right now is in the 3rd spot. Eric Darnell is trying to battle Brian for that 3rd position. Meanwhile, on the right side of your screen, that's Kyle Busch trying to get by Terry Cook and Matt Crafton. That will move him all the way up to 7th.
Kyle Busch, the man on the move. Also, Brad Keselowski trying to make the move to get by Mike Skinner. Keselowski's on the left side of your screen, Kyle Busch on the right.
I said, you know, would he get a caution? He might need a caution to get things bunched back up so he can go for this win, but darn, he's driving through guys.
Oh, and problems again with the 23.
Boy, that may just put John West Townley also involved. I'll tell you, that's a huge break for Kyle Busch now. He's got new tires, the fastest truck on the racetrack. There's Kenny. Kenny was involved in that. Kenny was running up in about the 11th spot.
He had actually worked his way into the top 10, and it looks like he's got some right front flat. Did that result from contact? Yes, he's had some contact under this latest caution. Solid run for that 15 truck, and Kenny Wallace of John West Townley had gotten some damage as well. Those 2 trucks might have gotten together. They were running in 11th and 12th together.
Take another look at what just took place to bring out our 7th caution of the night.
See, John West goes on the outside of the 11 of David Starr, then on the outside of the 15. I don't think Kenny knew that John West was there. Moved up the racetrack a little bit, squeezed John West into the outside wall.
That's a shame. Both those guys were having good runs. John West in a backup truck, he wrecked qualifying, and Kenny Wallace had to start in the back. So both these guys had overcome a lot of adversity, were racing up near the top 10, and now their trucks are all crumbled up.
We've seen quite a few crumbled up trucks this evening.
Boy, it's going to be exciting here when we get this restart to watch that 51 of Kyle Busch and watch that 2 of Kevin Harvick and see where they meet.
Kyle Busch currently running 7th.
Man, he was fast on this restart, though. Passing cars, passing trucks left and right.
Adam Alexander.
And it's interesting that you guys talk about Kyle Busch and where he is and how fast he has been, because as soon as the caution came out, they reminded Kevin Harvick where he was. They said that 51 on those good tires, restarting 7th. They feel, though, like they'll be okay because this race will probably restart with less than 10 to go, and that should give him enough cushion. But, oh, man, it's going to be fun to watch Wild Thing try to come through and get another win.
Well, the other big thing, if they start inside of 10 laps, it's a single file restart. He doesn't have to worry about any lap down vehicles.
You know, another big thing they have in their favor, Kevin Harvick's team, I mean, they've got Kevin Harvick behind the wheel.
Yeah, and he's leading.
And he's leading.
I would say if you had anything that you wanted, you'd want to be up front inside of 10 laps to go. The 23 of Johnny Benson's going to try to get back out on the racetrack. Again, Benson and Hornaday running 26th and 25th, respectively. 3 points separate the top 2 in points. Welcome back. Lucas Oil 150 about to go back to Green Flag Racing. Phoenix International Raceway, the site of this, the 24th race of the 2008 season. Kevin Harvick, can he hold off the 51 of Kyle Busch with the fresh tires? He's also got to worry about that 30 right on his back bumper. Look at this, side-by-side racing when the green flag comes out. 3 wide, Kyle Busch in the middle. A little bumping and banging. Kyle Busch trying to get by that 19 of Brad Keselowski.
What a move off the second turn. He got 2 trucks in one corner.
And he's coming.
He is coming. You say, you know, you said, can Kevin Harvick hold off Kyle Busch? Well, people would say, well, he's running 7th. I hope he can. But you don't know what Kyle Busch has got in mind. He's got fresh tires, and he's on a mission.
He's got 4th right now, going after 3rd on Brian Scott.
Are there enough laps left in this race? 8 to go. Kyle Busch trying to take 3rd away from Brian Scott.
Richie Waters left Atlanta with a set of new tires in his pit. I know that got on his nerves. He came and got tires here. Can they make up for it? Can they drive up there and get this win?
Meanwhile, Eric Darnell pulls to the inside of Brian Scott to try to take over that 4th spot. Side by side for 4th.
Brian Scott looking for a career best finish here at Phoenix International Raceway. Coming into this race, 7th was the best he's ever been able to do. That was Talladega earlier this year.
I like what he's done tonight, Phil. He's been steady, he's been fast, and has driven a smart race. Racing right now for the 4th spot.
Got a good battle for 6 right behind them. Skinner and Brad Keselowski side by side.
They've been side by side the last 10 laps. They were side by side when Kyle Busch went between them.
Little bumping there. Mike Skinner slides over and bumps into that 19 of Brad Keselowski.
Brad gives him plenty of room.
Trying to get that run.
Good corner for Skinner. He was able to pull alongside of Brad Keselowski, even with him off 2. Can he clear him in 3?
They continue side by side through 3 and 4. Todd Bodine running 2nd. Kyle Busch is 3rd. Look at this group of trucks. Brad Keselowski a little hard on the brakes. A little smoke coming out of the left front. There, that's a battle for 2nd. Todd Bodine just in front of Kyle Busch. 5 laps of racing remaining here at Phoenix. Can he get by him?
Meanwhile, he's going to go to the outside. Right now, Kevin Harvick has got about a 2nd lead over this battle for 2nd.
But the battle for 2nd is over. Kyle Busch takes that spot. And despite the fact that he was side by side with Todd Bodine that lap, he still outran Kevin Harvick.
He's got to make up at least 25 100ths of a second each lap if he's going to catch him. Right now, he has 4 laps to do it.
I'm not sure Kyle Busch didn't run into the outside wall trying to pass that 30 truck coming off turn 2.
Passing a truck, running into the wall, and still catching the leader. That's a good sign late in the race.
Kyle Busch restarted 16th on lap 134.
Look right side of your screen here. That's Kyle trying to move to the outside of Todd. Oh, I think he does make a little contact with the outside wall.
Just kissed it with the right rear. Only picked up a 0.5 a second on Harvick that last lap, though. He's going to run out of time.
It's not going to be enough time for him. These two continue to run side by side.
Skinner did away with Keselowski. Now he's driving up on the inside of Darnell, trying to get a top 5 in that 5
They make contact.
The final laps of this race, and a lot of bumping and banging for positions in the top 5 right now. 2 to go. Kevin Harvick in front of Kyle Busch, Todd Bodine, Brian Scott, and Mike Skinner. They're your top 5. Look at the lead that the 2 of Kevin Harvick has over that 51 of Kyle Busch.
The 51 of Kyle Busch is faster right now, but I'm telling you, he's running out of time. There goes Brad Keselowski by the 99 of Eric Darnell. That's for 6th.
These guys are racing fiercely all over the place. White flag. Can Kevin Harvick get back here with the win?
Kevin Harvick takes the white flag. Less than a mile to go at Phoenix for Kevin Harvick. This will be the 3rd race he has won in the Truck Series, and all 3 will have come at Phoenix International Raceway as we see Matt Crafton with troubles.
Too big a lead. There's no way Kyle Busch is going to catch him now.
Even though it started off looking like a bad night for Kevin Harvick, his race truck had problems early on. He is going to win at Phoenix,
Good job, buddy.
and that makes everything better.
That's a record
guys.
win.
Awesome job.
Brian Scott comes across in 4th with the best career finish for him.
Thing was awesome.
Sure is good to see Skinner get his feet back up under him, get a top 5 finish in that 5 truck. We talked about the points battle for the 4th position in the Truck Series, and Skinner took advantage of that tight battle.
And there's the guy right there in that VFW Chevrolet. 3 points behind going into Homestead next week.
Unbelievable. It came in 6 points the difference. Well, Ron Hornaday made up 3 points tonight.
And guys, by the way, KHI now has won 3 races in a row with 3 different drivers.
That's the Aaron's trivia question we asked earlier. First time ever that's happened that one team has won 3 in a row with 3 different drivers.
Yeah, hats off to Mark Smith, too, with Pro Motor for powering those Chevrolet engines.
And remember, next week in Miami Homestead, we're going to see Ryan Newman again. Ryan Newman won't get behind the 2 of this Camping World Chevrolet.
I don't think anyone is surprised to see that 2 truck in victory lane. They were really strong all throughout practice. He stumbled a little bit qualifying, kind of hacked Kevin off. He said, I just didn't do my job qualifying. He certainly did his job tonight.
Adam Alexander.
You talk about those 3 consecutive wins, Rick, for Kevin Harvick Incorporated, 2 of them with this guy on the box, Ernie Koch. How special is this? Harvick said it all. The truck was awesome.
Yeah, we took 3/10 of air out. That's all we done on our pit stop. It's a pretty good weekend. We didn't qualify like we wanted to, but the truck was excellent race trim.
And as you guys said, next week, they get Newman back in the truck, and this combination batting 1,000 in the Truck Series.
See the Chevrolet people.
Senator Shane Martin there.
State Senator Shane Martin just won his election on Tuesday. Works with the Chevrolet Engineering Group.
State Senator now in South Carolina, so congratulate to him. How about the 33 team? Unbelievable. On lap number 1, gets sideways, has a lot of damage. They go behind the wall. They work on it. He gets back out there, and he finishes in front of Johnny Benson.
The team just did an excellent job. They maximized their problems. They went into crisis management mode, and they passed with flying colors.
He didn't even make it past turn 3 on lap number 1, and ends up gaining 3 points on Johnny Benson.
3 points separate our top 2. Todd Bodine, 143 points out in 3rd. It's Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday going down to the final race of the 2008 season, and 1 position separates them between a championship. That'll all be decided next week. We'll be right back here in the Phoenix. Welcome back. The fireworks have started. Well, they started on lap number 1, but they're wrapping up this race. Lucas Oil 150 concluding. Our aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on Silent Armor technology with the strength of Kevlar for toughness and a comfortable ride. And I'm not sure anyone had a comfortable ride out there on the racetrack today.
I bet it's a comfortable ride up there in that blimp. They gave us some great pictures tonight, the Goodyear
Awesome
blimp.
shots. And now let's head back down to Victory Lane with Adam Alexander.
And Kevin Harvick, I think it's safe to say, owns Phoenix. 1 nationwide win, 2 Cup Series wins, and tonight, the truck hat trick. An amazing run for Kevin Harvick this evening, and your crew chief just told me 1 minor air pressure adjustment is all you needed. How good was this racetrack?
Camping with Chevrolet was just awesome, and I just got to say thanks to the VFW and everybody who's a part of this program. Snap-on. It's been a while since I've been in Victory Lane. Ream, all the people, the fans, everybody for being a part of our sport. So this is great. I was a little bit frustrated on the first lap there to see the 33 truck turning around, but guess it all worked out pretty good. We won the race, and they gained a few points.
So what goes through your mind in that situation? You got a great race truck, but you know your teammate and the guy running for a championship is on the sidelines.
Yeah, you know, it's actually a lot easier from a driver's perspective, just for the fact that you can sit in the truck and take your mind off that stuff and just go race. And you know, when the caution comes out and you look up in the mirror and all you can see is somebody running into the side of that truck, and I watched it hit the wall, and we think all in one sense there, you're like, man, we just lost the championship, and then you see the 23. That's what's great about our sport. It's never over till it's over.
Is there any way to put in perspective how good life is in the Truck Series right now? Back-to-back wins with 3 different drivers and a chance to win your 2nd straight title next week.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a huge credit to Chevrolet and everybody at our organization at KHI just for the job that they've done. And, you know, just my hat's off to everybody and just appreciate all the hard work.
Kevin Harvick knows what it's all about at Phoenix. He proves it again tonight, winning the Lucas Oil 150. Ray?
Well, Adam, let's hear from Todd Bodine. He started 11th tonight and rallies back to 3rd. Kyle Busch put on tires, and he was coming, but how good was your racetrack?
Well, our Lumber Liquidators Tundra, we needed about, 7, 8 laps just to get it going. It wasn't real good on restarts, but after about 20, 25, it was the fastest truck on the track. I mean, if we wouldn't have had that caution with 20 to go, we would have probably beat Kevin, but we were gaining about a 10th and a half a lap. But we had a good night. You know, we can't complain. Great pit stops as usual. Lumber Liquidators Tundra ran good. You know, we're gaining. We lacked a little in our setups in the beginning of the year, but junior and senior gone to work, and they've got some stuff figured out, and we're getting better every race. I mean, I think that's like 17 top 5 finishes, and you know, if we didn't have those DNFs, we'd be racing Ron and Johnny for the points. But you know, we're going to race for 3rd and go to Homestead, race for a win, and come back next year and race for another championship.
Todd, you know what it's like to be right in the thick of one of these title hunts. Do you believe there's 3 points between Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday going into the championship chase at Homestead? How much pressure is that on the drivers?
It's a lot. You know, it's one little mistake, one miscue like Ron had at the beginning of the race. Got a little loose, got sideways, got wrecked. You know, those things are what takes you out of a championship. You know, I've said all along that the guy who has the least amount of bad luck is going to win. And tonight, unbelievable. They both had bad luck and are still 3 points apart. So NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing at its finest.
We can't wait to go to Homestead, no doubt about that. Good run for Todd Bodine. The 30 crew finishes third tonight here at Phoenix.
You know, Ray, you were talking about how Todd was talking about how big a role he's been on. 7 of the last 9 races, Todd has finished in the top 5. They are on fire.
But a little bit too late in this championship run here in 2008, as they are back there 143 points from the championship. Todd Bodine has won the championship before. It's not going to happen in 08. Will we have a new champion or a repeat champion in 2008? Well, his owner found victory lane here at Phoenix International Raceway tonight. We'll be back with more as we close out from PIR. Tonight, stay in the game with Just for Men hair color moment. The 33 truck, lap number 1. Extensive damage to that truck.
Yeah, look at all the repairs being done by their crew, along with some Roush Fenway guys helping, as well as the driver Ryan Hornaday wielding a hammer.
Staying in the game.
They rolled it back on the racetrack, and that thing never missed a beat after that. Obviously, it wasn't all that fast, but no flat tires, no fender rubs, and that allowed them to stay in the game all the way to the checkered flag and gain points on Johnny Benson.
They gained 3 points on Johnny Benson when he had his problems, and so as the Lucas Oil Flat 150 has come to a close, we have 3 points separating our top 2 in the points, and we have Kevin Harvick back in victory lane once again in the Truck Series. Johnny Benson with tough night tonight. Adam Alexander caught up with him.
Up and down night for Johnny Benson, no doubt about it. The good news is you still have the point lead. Unfortunately, a missed opportunity. Take us through what tonight was like for you, Johnny.
I think if you got me and Ron together, we're going to have to go have a beer or something. It was horrible for both of us. And, you know, I don't know what happened after start with Ron, and then when he come across the track, we kind of caught as we went by. And, you know, that's just, like I said, I don't know what happened with him, but that was on that one. And then after that, I haven't seen anything with the 7. I felt like I was underneath him, felt like he come down. And then we hit, and then pretty much ended our day. So, you know, tripping the guys, just, you know, after our first deal, it bent the rear end a little bit, and we got it working around. Felt like we could probably run up in top 6, and was kind of biding our way. And I was trying to really be patient. It just ended up being not in the right place, wrong time or something. I don't know. It's just we're just making it exciting. I don't know what else to say.
3-point lead going the next week where you won a year ago. Your thoughts on trying to get this championship with 1 race left?
We just got to go do it. You know, I mean, like you say, we thought we had an advantage here, and not an advantage, but a misfortune on Ron's, and we both have had that all year, and it's just pretty amazing, just 3 points at the moment. But, yeah, we got to go down there and beat him.
Could be the final lap when we decide the champion 1 week from now.
Well, a career best run for Brian Scott. What a run you guys had at Phoenix. Were you having fun out there?
Yeah, it was a blast. Just the whole day was in the top 5. Had a really good truck. Stayed out of that first lap incident, and great pit stop, and just kind of chipped away at it all night. I mean, that was fun racing. It was fun racing with those guys, you know, gaining their respect, showing them I can race them clean, and coming home with the first top 5. It's awesome.
It's been fun watching this guy for the last 5 weeks. He and Jeff Hensley getting quite a team together at the 16.
And a bittersweet night, no doubt about it, for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. The boss man gets the win. Not so fortunate for you guys. First off, Ron, take us through what happened on that opening lap when you got turned around.
Well, not first of all. First of all, I got to thank everybody in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series garage. To see them team members, Jack Roush giving the okay for them Ford guys, and everybody to come work on that Chevrolet to make such a close championship. And this is what Truck Series is all about. And from the bottom of my heart, I think each and every one of you guys would come over there to help with that VFW Chevrolet back out there. And it's not the race route we wanted. Kyle was up on the outside. I know he was there, but I figured I got in the corner decent enough. But he rolled the outside real hard, and he turned me sideways. And he didn't do it, just the air did. And I don't know. Just one of them things. Racing me pretty darn hard, so hope he don't go for a championship, and I'm going to race him just as hard someday. But it's one of them things. I ain't blaming nobody. It just I don't think Johnny and I want to win this thing. You know, here I wreck, and then Johnny goes out and wrecks again. So it's going to come down to Homestead. 3 points. I can't believe it.
Your mile-and-a-half program has been really good. What's your confidence level with one race to go, and as you said, trailing by 3 points?
The bad part is we didn't know what truck we were going to take, and Rick Wren had to flip a coin. So we've got 4 brand-new trucks sitting back there. Got to thank Kevin Delaney. I just wrecked an awesome truck that I wanted to take to Homestead, so that was kind of stupid. I flat wrecked a brand-new truck, so I'm feeling good about it. I mean, we're just going to go out there and do the same thing. It's going to be the guy that has the least problems, and, you know, I'm going to let that happen again. That was, it looked like I never raced for a championship in my life, and I wrecked it on the first lap. So I'm going to take all the blame. I'm going to thank all the guys that worked so hard at KHI on this VFW Chevrolet and Camping World and Ream and everybody, ACL, everybody has been working so hard, and bottom of my heart, I just got to thank everybody in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 6
points seemed amazing with 2 races to go. Try this on for size. The season finale next week at the Homestead Miami Speedway. 3 points separating Ron Hornaday and Johnny Benson.
And again, history is continuing to be made. As Adam just mentioned, 6 coming in with 2 races, 3 with 1. Can history continue to be made? And can Ron Hornaday be the first ever in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series to repeat, do back-to-back championships in the Truck Series? That's never been done before.
Yeah, and it's certainly possible. I mean, I tell you, it's going to be a toss-up when we go down to the wire next week at Homestead. And like Adam said, it will be the last lap more than likely when we decide who's going to win that championship.
And Ron Hornaday has proven at Atlanta and Texas as recently as last week that their mile-and-a-half bank track program is on. So if I'm Johnny Benson, I'm thinking I got my work cut out for me to hold on to that 3-point lead.
Very, very strong. Coming up next on Speed, it will be trackside. The guests there will be Greg Biffle and Marcos Ambrose making another Cup start here at Phoenix International Raceway. He'll be the guest on trackside. Again, that's coming up at the bottom of the hour, just about 10 minutes away from now. A huge Kevin Harvick Incorporated night. Kevin getting the win. Ron Hornaday just 3 points back.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is presented on Speed by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. And brought to you in part by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears.
Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. If you didn't tune in at the beginning of this race, you have an unbelievable amount of highlights to catch up on.
Now, if you didn't tune in and you see that the point leads 3, you'll say, oh, they had a good battle. But
this is lap 1.
Yeah, how did we got second in points? Can I tell y'all how we got there? Watch this. Big crash on the first lap by Ron Hornaday. Johnny Benson even gets a part of this crash.
Look at all the damage to that BMW Chevrolet there.
So they go behind the wall. They start working on it. Not only does Ron Hornaday work on it, but team members from Roush Fenway Racing are still working on that vehicle as well.
He got back out, drove conservatively, obviously with a damaged truck. He knew he wasn't really going to beat anybody on the racetrack.
He was just thinking that maybe, surely not, but maybe
something could happen to Johnny.
Something could happen. On the first lap, Johnny gets in a crash with Ron. How would you have explained that was going to happen to Johnny if you had told him? He would have said, no way.
A little bit of damage right there. They fixed that. Didn't seem like it was a problem. We talked about him driving conservatively.
Really didn't look like it there. He makes contact with the 11 of David Starr. No harm, no foul. And then Colin Brown comes off 4, gets loose on the inside of Johnny. Could have been catastrophe for Johnny then. He emerges from that unscathed.
Johnny's got to be feeling pretty good. He's missed a couple of chances to mess up, but he couldn't miss them all.
And this time into the wall hard. That sends Johnny Benson now behind the wall to do the work on his 23 Toyota Tundra.
So how we got to 3 points, it was disaster for both teams.
Johnny Benson, after being behind the wall and doing all the work that they did on that race truck, he tried to come back out. He actually hit the wall again and went back. And so, in the end, Ron Hornaday got in front of Johnny Benson, finishing 25th. Johnny Benson finishes 26th. Now, that's why we are at 3 points separating our top 2.
And we still have that great battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th that we started the night with.
Oh, and by the way, Kevin Harvick won this race with a dominant truck. Welcome back. Race 24 is now in the books. The Lucas Oil 150 won by Kevin Harvick. Coming home in 5th tonight was the 5 of Mike Skinner. Let's go down and hear from him.
Well, Mike Skinner, in the first part of that race, I thought you were going to be a lap down. Did your truck get that much better?
No, not really. Our truck was fairly good on long runs, and at the start of the race, I thought we were really in trouble. And I worked on the rear brakes a little bit and just kept on messing with the balance and bead blower combinations. And right there at the end, I wish I had a couple more laps. I think we could have done a little better. I don't think we had anything for Kevin, or Todd, but Mike could have got by the 16. But he's my teammate. It wasn't worth running hard. But it was fun racing with Brad and Eric there at the end.
All right, another great run for Mike Skinner. 1 to go. He's off to Homestead for the final event of the year.
And that final race, Homestead Miami Speedway, 7:30. Chris Devoto will get us set up for the biggest race of the year.
We don't know what's going to happen. Don't you love how our truck drivers bring it?
We don't know what's going to happen on lap 1 or the last lap.
Kevin Harvick Incorporated was the story on lap 1, and they were the story on lap 150.
Friday night under the lights at Homestead Miami is the next stop. Kevin Harvick. Who's he talking to? Delena's right there in victory lane with him.
He's making plans for Homestead next week.
Maybe he'll get behind the wheel once again. Lap number 1. Second in the points, 6 points back. He had problems. Now, your point leader. Close call, but has to go behind the wall. A lot of people with a lot of damage here on this 1-mile racetrack. It was the RVs.com Camping World Chevrolet, driven by Kevin Harvick, that made it to victory lane tonight.